Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer of the Week podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
5 seconds remaining. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is all over. The Edmonton Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
For the win. Draisaitl centers. McDavid tips it home. Game over.
Gretzky going in. Suter trying to get back. Gretzky with his money.
It's the 6 o'clock and check-in. Come on, let's go.
And he scores. Leon Draisaitl.
It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
And there it is. Seth Hyman.
Static AM Radio. It's the cool band, Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go.
The Oilers pouring it on. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Smith from behind the net. A wraparound. Horton scores. Horton scores. Edmonton wins.
Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Actually, on the fly. Shoots the goal.
And those Macronella intros are cutting like a knife.
That is an absolutely pitifully bad call.
Hey, it's Mitch texting in. He's your dealer for life.
It is Rashad scores.
It's like a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin.
McDavid, beautiful move. In on the box. What can you say?
Let's see the Curry score.
Here they come, the Oilers. It's dropped back. Bookberger shoots, scores! Bookberger! The Oilers win it!
The Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
6:06. How you doing? Good morning. Game one. Happy Monday to everybody. This is should be the start of a great run in here in the city of Edmonton. Oilers fans obviously salivating at the prospect of tonight and the beginning of something special. And we're going to start it this morning, 6:06. It is the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, your home for wall-to-wall Oilers Stanley Cup playoff coverage. We'll have you pasted. We'll have everything you need to know pre, post, during, whenever. Edmonton Sports Talk is the place to get it. You can digest us. We are live on the iHeart TuneIn radio apps and as well on YouTube. We start off every morning, 6 o'clock with this show. Dustin Nielson, the host, still on his family vacation down San Diego way, and we'll have more on that coming up later on in the show, as a few sightings of him were over the weekend via the TV down at the ballpark. But Lieutenant Eric in with you for half of this week, leading up to about Wednesday or Thursday. Joaquin Gage joins me again in the co-host chair, and YouTube Trev behind the monitors. Boys, we are here. It's the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio as well. Hot as always in this studio. Not to mention, though, with your leather and everything. I mean, it increases the degrees in here just by a few. I'd say
it's a little warm. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to last the entire show, but it's the old adage, Eric. When I'm wearing leather, the Oilers are better.
And I'd say it's worth about 250 likes on the YouTube at least. I mean, I should by now, before you take it off. I mean, come on, give him some likes before he has to peel that puppy off. But no, it's game one tonight. Of course, Stanley Cup playoffs kicking off this weekend. You had your appetizer games. You had your Battle of Floridas, your Bostons, Torontos. But I think the entire hockey world waiting with bated breath for the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers to renew their rivalry again tonight down at Ice District. But you can have your say as well throughout the show in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Very simple, 780-218-9999.
It's the Bling Box. It's the Bling Box. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. And they got lots of fancy, shiny things.
Look at this, look at that.
Not just for the ladies. They got jewelry for men, too. The ring box, the bling box, the Paris Jewelers inbox.
$20 to A&W is on the line, and with that, text of the day, usually probably for today, I would assume it's an Oilers-Kings playoff scenario text, but Any way you feel like you can win today, 780-218-9999. Come get that $20 to A&W, as the new Stacker Burgers are now available at A&W with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, and a new secret sauce that is bound to have you coming back for more. Grab a single, double, or triple stacker starting at $3.99. The Stacker Burgers are only available for a limited time, so head to A&W today. For your convenience, most A&W drive-thrus open 24 hours, and Gage, that's not a bad little deal. A single, a double. I would suggest maybe the triple for tonight, $3.99. Those Stacker Burgers at A&W, a great way to kind of get a little grub in that belly for game one. You don't want to go into this thing without a good appetite down your stomach, do you? Tonight?
Well, it's a little sustenance. You don't, but everything in moderation. I think at the start of this whole thing, it's. It was a great weekend of sports. Lots of hockey. We had F1. It's just.
Well, I mean,
it was. I was
you're still in Shanghai, a part of you, hey? Like,
yeah. Well, I did order Chinese for.
Yeah. Okay. Well, get in the spirit.
Just get in the spirit of some egg rolls and fried rice. It was great, but
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. No, Max again. Dominance.
You and I were sitting here Friday after the show, and we were watching the qualifying for the wild. The rain was all over the place. Guys are going all over the Friends Center, but it was nice that Norris was up there. You had Alonso up there. It's like okay, maybe Shanghai is it's going to be a bit different.
It
from
only
the
got
rest.
better too.
Yeah.
Like the actual qualifying after the sprint, the last 30 seconds, second place changed every single guy that was coming across the line. It was exciting qualifying, and there was. I think Lance Stroll actually got a ticket for texting while driving, going into the back of Ricardo too. So
the boys and I have a Simpsons group chat where we discuss very dank, dark memes regarding the Simpsons, and Lance Stroll popped up in there. You know it's a bad weekend when he infiltrates the Simpsons meme group, but Lance Stroll, we light yet another candle for our Canadian hero, 15th finishing, but another win for Verstappen. And Miami, here we come, right? This is you like the North American rate, the time and all that. I mean, I think the Euros is probably the best kind of.
Yeah, I like the Euros the best, but it'll be nice to have an F1 race at a normal time, so to speak. And it's bigger, it's better. It's they do a lot of extra things in Miami. It's a pretty sweet track by the stadium there. They got the fake water, I believe.
The Brundle Walk will be one too.
It's always good because he goes up to people that are quite famous and really doesn't care.
No, or doesn't know, or whatever it is. Yeah. But speaking of start times and such, once again, it is Oilers Kings, which means you are the late one. You are the late one on the old schedule. 8:00 tonight. Puck drop, which I do believe probably with ceremonial stuff and everything, you're looking at maybe a few minutes past.
Yeah, there's a lot of time of priming.
Yeah, the same Major League Baseball.
For this evening. It's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine and over the weekend, and he was saying how there's the amount of production that will be done in companies this week will be absolutely zero. So sorry for all you business owners out there.
We warned you. We warned you Friday that today would be a Friday, and it's shaping up like that. You can feel it's spring has sprung too, and I think it's a little windy, a little breezy. Yesterday was a little dark and cold. I think temperatures are supposed to get better. Everything's kind of supposed to bloom and blossom here in the city. So we look forward to that. But 8:00 tonight, puck drop. Probably a little past that, but we'll get you started as mentioned here on Edmonton Sports Talk as Tom Gazzola will have your GCL Diesel pregame show and postgame show, but coverage tonight begins at 6:30, taking you up to puck drop, and you can join Tom after tonight's melee and transmit your thoughts as well with the postgame show. Nasty Chats always humming on that, and of course the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. But come join Tommy tonight if you want a little more interactive experience. He'll be down at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall location. It'll be our watch party this evening. I'll be down there at my Monday best. YouTube Trev, you may be, right? Like you kind of given the...
Yeah, I might be there. I might make a...
That's one of those things for you because you're here working and then you're...
It is nice that it's on Bourbon Street. Yeah. I can definitely go to that one.
The whites are out of question. It's all you're a bourbon man. I'm a bourbon man. Love Bourbon Street. We'll be here tonight for it. 6:30. Once again, things get underway. Hey, show up a little early too. Can't hurt, especially for game one of the postseason. I don't think, as you said, moderation. You can't. Act like you've been here before, right?
Exactly.
And this isn't the first run here. We got to, the Oilers are one of the oldest teams, if not the oldest, right, in the NHL. I mean, I think the fan base needs to emulate that a bit as well and have a little veteran style about yourself when you're in the moss pit or otherwise tonight. But 6:30 GCL Diesel pregame show with Tom Gazzola right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And once again, if you want, if you're going to the game tonight, you just want to have a little pregame mixer down at Hudson's Bourbon, come on and join us, and Tommy will be dishing out those GCs like an SOB. You know how he does. But 780-218-9999. Rest of the hour, we'll just pour over the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Action happening over the weekend. 4 more games tonight. Another game one as well between Vegas and Dallas to get underway, and then a couple of game twos. It is game day, and it is game day in Edmonton, which means the Tales of the North, in which you and I mean, we'll
do it.
We'll do our best. I brought in more, weaponry and such. So, got the garb over there and everything. So we'll do this the only way we know how. But the first ever Tales of the North with Lieutenant Eric and Joaquin Gage, and a special appearance perhaps from YouTube Trev as well behind the monitors. That's coming up at around maybe 6:30 today. Good, bad, and ugly as well to round out our number one, recapping the weekend, whether it was good, whether it was bad, whether it was ugly, and you can always play along as well. 780-218-9999. Craig Button, the Flex Master, he flexes in again. You talked with him Friday. He's back, baby. Dreger needs to be bumped to tomorrow, so Craig Button will join us yet again for Pro-Am Sports, recapping some opening round games and setting up tonight's big one between the Kings and Oilers. That's 7:05. Club Canada hotline of the day at 7:20. I says pardon. That's coming up at 7:30 for lawyer-central.com. The Vegas keyword, be by your phone, 740. We'll have that keyword for you. All you simply need to do is text in that word. Trev will run those numbers through the randomizer, and we could be giving you a lucky call. It is the final week of qualifying for the Fly YEG trip to Vegas, so be by your phone, 740. You don't want to miss out. Not a lot of chances to get in this one. 740, be by your phone. We'll round out hour 2 with a little, that's good, courtesy of the Italian Center. Hour 3, we're getting into the business. Trivia, 3 questions too many. Orange and Blue Breakfast, and Ryan Rashad from the Got Your Back podcast will join us to round out hour 3 and really take a deeper dive into tonight's game 1 between the Kings and the Oilers. Nasty Chat is up. It is running more 7-6 games. LFG. Let's start there yesterday. And, I was out with my wife's grandpa, and we're casually dining on our early bird special here at some, and he goes, oh, look, they've scored already. I said, oh, yeah. You turn your head for a second, you turn it back, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? And the score keeps changing and changing and changing. Whiteout in Winnipeg, the home ice advantage that never should have been. Thoughts on that one last night? Wow.
First, I love when I see stadiums packed, first of all, and so excited. Like Winnipeg, great job for Winnipeg fans. The whiteout, it's great to see that again. But the roller coaster of emotion for a Jets fan. I wish we should have had the ISOCAM on Huss for that first period to see what was going on. But just seeing lead changes and the way that game unfolded, I think Lowry just an absolute beast in that game, going up against McKinnon and outscoring him. Enjoyable game to watch. I love the goals. As a goalie, it kind of irks me a little bit, but I got to say, it's enjoyable to watch.
Well, you're not. I mean, from your 10,000-yard glance now, you kind of have a bit of a sting maybe, but you can, it's not me, that type of thing. But, I mean, certainly when you're looking at scores like that, more of that from the neutral as well. Florida defeating Tampa 3-2 yesterday to take a 1-0 series lead in that battle of the Sunshine State. The Rangers 4-1 at home over the Capitals. That kind of as you do. And then Vancouver doubling up Nashville 4-2. That was in your nightcap. To take a 1-0 series lead over the Nashville Predators as well. And Winnipeg, obviously, 7-6. They lead that series 1-0. Looking ahead to tonight, Boston at home to Toronto. Bruins taking game 1 over the weekend as well. Carolina also holding a 1-0 lead over the Islanders as they get set to host New York for game 2. Then a pair of game 1s tonight as well. Dallas at home to Vegas, and the Oilers hosting the Kings. So lots of good action still to come. And certainly with the Oilers, I mean, I know a lot of people, a couple of people discussing in the nasty chat this morning about Evander Kane and a sports hernia, and he's trying to get himself going for a... I mean, there was some smoke fire, right? And his absence over the last little while was, I mean, some people discussing maintenance or what have you or other. I mean, people's thoughts, whenever it's not told straight outright. It leaves fans to wonder. But Evander Kane hernia, where are we thinking with this? The guy's a battler. He loves the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it kind of makes sense because when you were watching Evander Kane throughout the whole season, there was, I don't want to say, did he look a little of a step behind at certain points? And this actually makes a ton of sense on two guys. I think Cass dealt with this at one point in his career, and it was just it got to the point where he had to completely get shut down. But no, when the coach asks you to play, you're going to say yes at most points and try to battle through those things. He said it himself. It was nice to take a week off. Hopefully he can get back to it can heal up a little bit. But this is one of those nagging injuries that kind of lingers on until you really have the summertime to take the two. But that's why people, I think, are asking, well, why didn't they throw him on the LTIR and do something at that point? And I think if they do not, I think they have to wait until the new CBA agreement to change these things. I don't know why they don't do it right away, but I think you're going to see a lot more teams starting to look at injuries like this and go, you know what, we're just going to put you on the shelf because it makes more sense for our team, depending on what window you're in.
Well, if you're in hockey's always got this thing about being tough and overcoming things, and that's fine. But if it is hampering, I mean, if you're not the player that you are, don't be again. But again, use this. I don't know, we're calling it loophole still, but use this benefit within the CBA to put a guy on there and acquire somebody else and get going. I don't know. The timing is weird, and of course, when your neighbor down the hall is working this puppy like a son of a... Like, it's just... you'd want something else there. But we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe some... he spoke yesterday. Maybe we'll get some words from Evander. But Adam chimes in. If Kane's had a hernia for so long, why didn't we LTI him and sign someone like Kucherov, Kane, or Stone? Yes, that is a great question, and one that maybe we'll pose to one of our insiders or analysts this morning in Craig Button and TSN's Ryan Rashad. But 780-218-9999 is the number if you want to chime in on that or anything else. I did get a text on my personal phone this morning from our man in the chair, Wheels Atif. I haven't listened to this, and I'm gonna raw dog this one. I'm just gonna play it for you. I really don't know what's happening here, but it's the opening hour. It's game one of the Oilers playoff run, so why not? This is Atif texting me with some audio.
Good morning, AM Nasties. Today is game day. It is the playoffs, and I got a song for you. So here we go. It's the Nielson Show. All right, here we go.
Okay. All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna splice this thing up because I see it goes on and on. I mean, I think there's a chorus, a verse, a chorus again. Atif, you got to tighten these. You got to tighten them up. You got to tighten them up. You got to do the 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. How's it going before you hit record? I'll go through this. We'll make sure that it's perfect, and then we'll air it. But appreciate the work of Teef. 780-218.
I think he can
99.99.
Absolutely,
we can do that.
I love that button.
I'll give him a didgeridoo. Tube Sox calling it the reverse Vegas, I guess, in this sense, with the Evander Kane and not reluctance to put him on IR. But let's do this. I want to do this as well. And we do have Jaunty and Victoria, as you heard, kicking off the show, the 6 o'clocker check-in playoff remix. We love the work that he's been doing over the past little while in terms of avoiding copyright and such that we're liking to do around here at EST. But he's also put together some quick playoff vignettes, I guess, 24 playoff primer, down and dirty. I got a few of these. We'll pepper them in throughout the show, but just to kick off, let's take a listen to the first one here. This is a playoff primer from Jaunty and Victoria.
And now we're going to have a glory fight. Here comes Cam Talbot and Mike Smith. They're going to go in center ice. Talbot short with the right hand. Smith, 3 clubbing right hands. Right hand Talbot. Big right-handed shot from Mike Smith. This is the battle of Alberta we've been waiting for
overtime power play. Carolina moving up. Bring the board to the far side. That's Morgan. Here's the break. And it's Pisani scores. A short-handed goal for Pisani. And the Edmonton Oilers come out of the box, are out on the ice, and they are celebrating a huge win. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Man, if Bob Colin could have lasted like another decade or two with the technology we have now and the drops that he used to have, man. But Jonty and Victoria, thank you for that. Got a few others we'll play throughout the show this morning, but I'll give a conch to our boy Jonty out in Victoria here this morning. You do too. Give him another one.
2 for that one? Might as well. Back to back. Back to back. I love it. Bob Cole was great.
It's just, I figure like born too soon, maybe.
You know, I used to run into him all the time in my first couple of years in the minors because he'd be coming from the Rock to go to Toronto to do the games, and just sitting there talking to him, he would already be screeched. So it was great.
Sure, yeah.
And just have great stories. But that iconic voice in the airport in St. John's, Newfoundland was just great.
Oh,
yeah.
That type of thing. Bob Cole, we miss you, man. I wouldn't mind having a game or two with him on the call. Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to get to a sports update as well here, but first we got to, and thanks to YouTube, Trev tracked down a little bit of Evander Kane as well, just discussing his status as well, leading up to Game 1 later tonight. Here's the Oilers forward speaking yesterday.
That you'll be healthy enough to play in Game 1 of the series.
Not sure.
It's
yeah, the week's been, it's nice to finally get some rest a little bit. I've been dealing with a sports hernia kind of all year, so it was just getting worse and worse, so I thought it'd be good to take a week off before the playoffs and try to see how I can feel.
You play all year kind of waiting for this. Is it a little bit frustrating that it's flaring at this time?
Well, it's been flaring all year. I mean, it's just something I've tried to manage kind of the whole year and do what I can to feel better. But, it's one of those things that it just requires some time and some time away from skating. So got that in this week finally. Looking forward to how I feel.
Does it limit your ability to, we all know the type of game you can play in the playoffs, to bring that physical game? Does it hamper that?
Well, it doesn't affect my shoulder or my upper body to a degree. It's really just anybody who's had that type of injury understands it's more skating and quickness and agility and quick movements that really which I really wasn't aware of until I've dealt with it now, can really affect you. So for me, it's something I was just kind of learning to deal with. Obviously always wanting to play and stay in the lineup, but got home the other day in Vancouver and really didn't feel good. So, or after the game in Vancouver, really didn't feel good. So thought I'd take some time off before the playoffs and see how I could feel.
Do you're always been known as a clutch goal-scoring guy in the playoffs, a guy that rises to the occasion to a big game. Can you come in here and be a different guy? Can you come in here and play your physical game and say, maybe I'm not the guy that's going to be on the power play. Maybe I'm not going to be the guy scoring as big of goals because this is what my role is in this season.
Well, I don't. I would say no. I'm still the player. I still scored a decent amount of goals this year. I haven't ever played on the power play here on the first unit, so that's not a new thing, Mark. Opportunity's been more limited, but I've still found ways to produce at a high level for this team. So when the playoffs roll around, and again, not feeling great. So when the playoffs come around, I think obviously everybody wants to raise their level of play, and we'll see what type of we'll see how things look.
Can you get more out of yourself if you're, today you look at your line, maybe a line that won't play quite as many minutes. Is that helpful for you to manage the injury, to have the minutes down a bit?
Minutes have been down all year. I don't think the minutes really have anything to do with how I feel, regardless of the injury.
There you have it. Evander Kane speaking on his it's a sports hernia, right?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the other
No.
Hernias.
And he said, yeah, it's that push, agility. You know, he did say it. He scored a decent amount of goals, over 20 goals again this year, which is no small feat for a guy that's going through injury. Maybe I think production was down this way, and that kind of it makes sense if he couldn't move as well as he had. Like he did, really.
Taking it all at face value, yes.
If you look at the whole season and Evander Kane moving around the ice, he didn't look the same as years previous. So it does make sense, and it's frustrating. I mean, whenever you're doing a job, I don't care what it is, and you're not feeling well, maybe that little bit of, I don't know, that ornery Evander Kane reared his head, and maybe this is why we saw that more this year.
It's a great point.
Than we have before, because he wasn't feeling good, and this is a guy that I think when he is feeling good he's always in the top six, and this is a guy that usually puts up about 30 goals a year. So I sense the frustration in his voice, and I know people will revert back to, is this the old Evander Kane rearing its ugly head? But I don't think that's it. After putting the pieces of this puzzle together, being the detectives that we are, I think this is more of a guy that wasn't feeling well and being frustrated with everything and trying to do the best he can, because everything else that has led up to Evander Kane coming to Edmonton, he's a changed guy. So I'm gonna take. He might even be my good for hearing all this. So this is I'm encouraged by this, and really, the Oilers are a deep enough team where it's possible for him to get a little bit more rest. Like he
wasn't on the ice for that Sharks. Now I know the Sharks are different, but I'm just saying we can slice it a variety of ways. And you're right. I mean, an injury such as that. I mean, as opposed to something where, I mean, let's take his wrist injury for example. I mean, you get hurt, you're out.
Yeah.
You have a clear path forward of, okay, at this point I'll be doing this and this and that, and you can kind of. But a sports hernia and for I mean that. It goes. You feel like, maybe I'm kind of finally getting over this thing. Then it comes back, and then the frustration leads in, and everything kind of goes haywire there, and lasts maybe longer than it should. But certainly the timing is a curious one, and that's what'll probably leave Oilers fans down a lot of little garden paths and everything, and as such, and clearly the LTIR thing, when it's used to such, brilliance down the road, you're like, well, why not us? And here would be a perfect example of maybe saying that, but. This is it. This is the situation, and you're right. Maybe, I mean, who's to say? 20 goals during the season, but a season that maybe wasn't the best. So you get him. Do you want like a 50, 75% Kane chugging away out there and kind of doing his thing, or make way for?
I think I do.
Yep.
I think it just. I mean, it's. He's still a very effective player. Yep. It's just he's got some of the questions there were probably a little bit abrasive, and are you going to have to change your game? No, you don't change your game because you play the same way he's always played and made him successful. So I don't see that, but just trying to do it with a little bit less ice time it's difficult too.
780-218-9999 is the number if you want to weigh in on the Kane situation ahead of Game 1 tonight. Or in the Nasty Chat as well. Get your thoughts in as well. That place is bumping right now. And this morning, we're going to try it. We're going to do it, right? I mean, YouTube Trev, you said we were going to put the C on your breast for this one. You got to get on this one. The 700 likes. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, we're definitely. I was going to say something, but I'll say it now. Yeah, let's see if we can get 700 likes. Like this is awesome. It's playoffs. Playoffs are here. If you like playoff hockey, leave a like, and it's something cool that we can tell Dusty like. When he was away, we got 700 likes. He would be
proud.
He'd be so proud, but he'd also be jealous. He'd be like, "Wow, why can't I do that?"
Dusty, this is your
Absolutely. I think we can do it. I absolutely think we can do it. So let's start now. Let's get 700.
Game 1, let's go. And I ain't threatening you. I told you I wouldn't beg. But we're asking nicely. And again, if you like hockey and if you want to just kind of needle Dusty a bit, this would be a great way to check all those boxes. But get on YouTube, hit the like, hit the sub as well, and have your say as well in the Nasty Chat. But we'll hit a sports update, be back with a little Tales of the North cosplay as well, and a good, bad, and ugly to round out hour number 1. It's the Nielson Show, sans Dustin Nielson, Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, and YouTube Trev. Oilers and Kings, game one of that Stanley Cup opening round series tonight here in Edmonton. Tom Gazzola, he'll be live at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall, and he'll have your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage starting at 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. Yesterday, the Panthers taking a 1-0 series lead in the Battle of Florida, grounding the Lightning 3-2. Rangers topped the Capitals 4-1 to take a 1-0 series lead. Jets win a wild game one in Winnipeg, 7-6 over the Avalanche. And the Canucks doubling up Nashville 4-2 to lead that series 1-0. Elsewhere tonight, the Bruins host the Leafs up 1-0. Hurricanes at home to the Islanders, leading that series 1-0 in game one between the Stars and Golden Knights from Dallas. Toronto Blue Jays taking 2 of 3 from the Padres over the weekend, losing the finale of the 3-game set 6-3 yesterday. Jays remain on the road. They'll visit the Royals tonight to open a 4-game set when they send Yusei Kikuchi to the mound. First pitch 5:40. Over to the NBA, Celtics take game one over the Heat, 114-94. Clippers 109-97 over the Mavs. They lead that series 1-0. Bucks topping the Pacers 109-94, taking game one. And the OKC Thunder with a slim 94-92 victory over the Pelicans. They lead that series 1-0. 3 games tonight. We'll see the Cavs up 1-0 over the visiting Magic. Sixers visit the Knicks trailing 1-0. And the Lakers on the road in Denver, trailing that series to the Nuggets, also 1-0. This sports update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
The Nielson Show, featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Not a long enough time here for me. It's 6:36. It's the Nielson Show, Edmonton Sports Talk. .com, the iHeart, TuneIn radio apps, and on YouTube. Lieutenant Eric in for Dustin Nielson. He'll be back on probably Thursday morning, as he'll be at Rogers Place for Game 2 Wednesday night. Joaquin Gage joining me in studio alongside YouTube Trev behind the monitors. Great Monday morning to you. As we said, the days of the week, the times, the dates, they all kind of blend into one now that it's playoff time. All you got to know is when's Game 1, when's Game 2, when's Game 3, and the start times. Obviously, in this series, as you know, late 8:30-ish. So be prepared, but we'll get you set the only way we know how with the GCL Diesel pregame show, and that gets underway 6:30 this evening here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can join Tom Gazzola. He'll be live at Hudson's Bourbon Street, broadcasting the pre- and post-game shows. Your place to get set for the Oilers and Kings, and he'll knock them down as well prior or post-game tonight. Taking your comments and reaction after the game. Should be a good one. As mentioned, it's a Monday, but it really feels like a Friday. And we'll get you set on this show the best way we know how, and that is with a Tales of the North. But I don't know how much time did you spend in the front of the mirror yesterday doing? How many hours? 2, 3, 4? It
was around that.
Get the character down.
Well, yeah. You get, I think I got the voice. So that's good.
Oh, the voice. I like it. Well, we'll hopefully all the technicalities. You got all that set there. That's perfect.
I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
All right, I even think YouTube Trev, if he wants, I mean, you can get in on this puppy as well. I'll get up the main weapon here, but if we're good to go,
let me know. I'm ready.
Well, I need the sound here. Bear with me, guys, because I just. It's much easier when Dusty's got that wig on, and I just kind of. But here we go. I'll get these in, and we'll get set here. You ready, Gager?
Ready.
Who owns the North? Who owns the North? Show me!
There will be no streaking in this town, Frank the Tank.
Tonight in the North, a tale as old as time pits two familiar foes once again, head to head, looking to snatch a slip from Lord Stanley's chalice. The old sunken eyes himself leads a band of silver and black bandits past the north wall, looking to slam down a window, being propped open by none other than King Kara himself. The lords of La La Land look to once again become first-round fodder to an elder group of statesmen looking to reclaim their spot atop the heap. Hyman of House 50, Perry the Great, Yanmark the Thumb, Evander the Hernia, who will rise above and secure permanent seats at the round table of victory and success. The Garlic King sits high upon his throne with a goblet of coffee by his side. Will it be he that leads the team, this city from decades of darkness, into the shining light of Lord Stanley's gaping bowl? It starts tonight, Game 1, Battle 1, as they quest for Pacific supremacy and the continuation of killing the kings. These are the tales of the North, and may they be heard far and wide across this great land.
Take all the time you need at Home Depot and Bed Bath & Beyond, Frank, because it won't be watching hockey.
Aye. How to be. That was great. Good job, boys.
We try. Hopefully that would and yeah, Trev was in there with the dagger. I mean,
stabbing.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Who knows when you need to take down an Achilles tendon, hey?
Absolutely.
Hiding under the bed.
Exactly, that type of thing. So, yeah, we're trying here. It's Tales of the North to get you set for Game 1. Hope you like that. I know, look, the costume and everything, very sweaty. Very,
God,
it's getting into the character and all that. It's a big profit production here, but we do it. Spare no expense, Edmonton Sports Talk. It gets a little goofy and a little gimmicky at times, would you not say? Hey, but that's how we like it. Got to have a little fun. 780-218-9999 is the number to text if you wanted to to chime in on that.
I was scared about what I was going to say. I had a lot of things, but the superstition factor creeps in with me. I didn't want to say anything bad about a certain player because then I don't want to light the fire. You know?
You're controlling the destiny of a lot of these guys. You're kind of writing this into existence. So good job to kind of
It's a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely. Jason chimes in. Trev having a coffee mid-knife hits. Awesome. Colby, Evander the Hernia was classic. Dusty would be proud from Colby. That's what we're trying to do here, right? Make the big guy proud in his stead. RBM, this must prove that at the end of the day, it really is up to the players whether they're cleared. Unless, of course, it's serious enough to be shut down medically. This is a little frustrating, though, considering how much things like this are contained. Makes me wonder whether or not the Oilers were expecting Kane to go to the media with it, especially right before the playoffs are about to start. And, I mean, if you can, Gage, you've been in a room. Walk me through that hierarchy there. Like, is him talking yesterday? I mean, we're kind of... Kane does break the mold of a typical hockey player when it's you figure it's all black and white what they're going to say. And he will give you a quote sometimes that makes you... So... Would this be like a uniform process here? Do you see him just kind of speaking yesterday because he's asked? Or,
well, I look at it as a guy that might have, again, probably a little bit not satisfied with the way his year went, feeling the heat,
an overall
a little
frustration
bit,
with the injury and without everything else.
So maybe this is a little bit of a way for a player to clear the air and say, okay, this is what I've been dealing with. And maybe looking for, I don't want to say, is sympathy a bad word of his, I don't know.
An understanding of what he's at this point,
what he's been going through. Yeah. And look, I just heard that and being in dressing rooms for a better part of my life, I can understand saying something like letting people know. As for the LA Kings targeting a sports hernia, that's not, everyone's got bumps and bruises at this time of year. You're trying to be hard on
you. Assume everybody's got a sports hernia that you want to kind of,
Exactly. So, no, I don't think so. And I think he's going to be out of the lineup tonight. That's my feeling with just him saying that now. Because it kind of answers the question, well, why is Kane out? What did he do? Is he upset about his ice time? Now we know the reason. If it comes to the point where Nobla doesn't have him in, okay, well, he is banged up. And we've been hearing rumblings of Evander Kane. Tommy's mentioned it throughout the year. I think that, he heard that Evander Kane is a little bit banged up, and this is why.
I thought myself and a few people you talk to kind of out on the street at the bars or whatever, and you're still thinking of that wrist injury and maybe something there in terms of a guy, but, still getting 20 goals. Obviously, this is something that we'll keep an eye on, and it is, I mean, look, In true Kane fashion, though, it's prior to game one. Like, I mean, you gotta you gotta find out about this now. But of course, it's him, and we got to do this, and people are going to be talking. So it's a storyline right now. Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, I do wonder though. Maybe as you say, you expect him to be out. The old switcheroo. Now he's in, and he comes to play tonight or something. I don't know. Maybe the hernia takes a bit of a break or something.
I mean, Nabas has been completely. He's come forward with every piece of information. I don't think he takes, compared to Woodcroft, he wouldn't divulge a lot of the secrets behind.
Woodcroft was, shall we say, a little more, and maybe that's a strong word, but paranoid with that stuff.
Yeah,
he really kind of read the paper like that type. Like
he would try to keep everyone on their toes. Didn't tell the lineup, and was very vague with a lot of the information. Yeah. With Naba, it's black and white. He tells you right away.
And I don't mind that. What's he scared of? Like, I mean, it eliminates all that. And not secrecy, but like, what are you trying to like? And then it doesn't happen. You're like, well, why not just?
Yeah, why not just say it? Yeah.
Be confident of your team, your abilities, and whatever. This is what it is. You're not going to beat it. Clay says, now we can win tonight. Clay's words, not mine. Paris Jewelers Inbox, 780-218-9999. Bob Loblaw and Lloyd, well job. I need. Can we get a conch for the, if you got that?
Yeah, no.
Look at you. You're working the ones and twos. This is like Eastern Europe.
That's good.
Nasty chat as well, humming along. As mentioned, Craig Button will be joining us this morning. Darren Dreger's got a flex out. He'll be joining us tomorrow, but Button will be by, kicking your Monday off and previewing that game one. Also recapping some of the action throughout the weekend as well. We'll get his thoughts on Evander Kane and elsewhere, and the differences for this Oilers-Kings series. And Ryan Rashad will also be by hour number 3. Those will be our guests later this morning, and we thank them for their time. Offer up the Cass goal song. Comes in from Bergie. I guarantee you'll get 700. Sure. Okay, if you need a bribe. I said I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to. But bribery, I'll bribe you. I mean, 700, sure. No, I won't be talking. I won't be sending fear down your spines with talking of soccer or football, as they like to say. No threats, no begging. But bribery, sure, we'll do that for you. I have full access to the songs, the vaults, the whole bit. So if you want the Cassian goal song, and we hit that 700 clip, I'll play it for you. I played for you twice. I'll play it for you. Gage, you can play it off his. I'll play it off mine at the exact same time. But if you get 700, it's the only way that we get to those scenarios. So please get on YouTube, hit the sub, hit the like, and we'll get the show pumping into that algorithm for the Oilers Stanley Cup run. We also got your Vegas keyword coming up, 7:40 this morning. Be by your phone at that. It's the final week of qualifying. We'll be giving out a winner or calling a winner on Friday. They'll be off to Vegas, nonstop flight, courtesy our friends at FlyYEG. So final week of qualifying on this show, and the rest coming up 9 to 11 with Matt Iwanek in the Hangout, and as well Lock Shop, Oil Stream, 2 guys and a goalie. And so get in, be by your phone, 1 week to do that as well. Let's get into your good, bad, and ugly right now from the weekend. We don't need to spend too much time, but anything sticking out in the good, bad, and ugly realm for you, Gager, in hockey or otherwise. I know, again, the auto sport is always on in your household. So is it a clean sweep, good, bad, and ugly from the world of Formula One this weekend?
It should be.
Yes.
The good is the dominance of Red Bull fans and seeing Max Verstappen being one of the most dominant athletes on the planet. You look at his teammate, Checo, and still he's consistently 0.3 of a lap faster every lap. The bad, obviously, our Canadian boy, Lance Stroll, just texting while driving.
Should be ugly.
And it's very sad to see it and blaming Ricardo for locking up in front of him, which was funny, and Ricardo having some choice words in the interviews after.
I just Jacques Villeneuve, the days of true representation and something to be now you got father and son and
yeah.
I mean, if I see the words DNF one more time next to that name, or whatever, and I know he didn't this weekend, but you know what I'm saying. It's just always this headache around him.
Well, you just can't. I said it. I've said this for the past week. Is you can't take yourself seriously as a Formula One team with Lance Stroll on your team, and you sign Fernando Alonso for another couple of years. It just the route they want to go, and now they're joining with Honda to get the new power unit. Something's got to give.
Even like we were watching Zhao Guanyu, like even his home race, Like, hey, he did pretty good through the and that's something. But we're not going to see that with Lance Stroll. Like, he's just a seat warmer. There's no expectation of any sort of success ever.
Yeah. No, it's there was glimpses a few years ago with when he broke his wrists or whatever. But I don't think we'll ever see Lance finishing on the podium at all.
What? And you're ugly.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay.
That was, might as well go there.
Yeah. Well, that's always an easy one.
That just didn't look good for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe the comeback player of the year, the William Nylander. Having him possibly back into the lineup might add something, but they did not. They were playing regular season. Bruins were playing playoffs.
Craig was pretty bullish on the old Leafs as well heading in as when we spoke to him last on Friday. So we'll get his thoughts on that as well. Yeah, 5-1. I mean, my good will be the Dustin Nielson family enjoying their vacation down San Diego way. And although I don't have access to the full itinerary, I view and look at what I can get from his Twitter account. And their personal Facebooks. But what a night it was at the Blue Jays game for Nielsen and family. I was at my brother's having a little supper, and then the tweets start coming in and everything. Oh, you see this? And grainy photos of him with the Edmonton Sports Talk cap and Marshall beside him. I didn't really get the ice cream eating scenario that I envisioned with Kramer and Costanza from the tennis championship, where Kramer sees him gorging himself in some sort of a parfait. But we did get to see Dusty and Marshall on the camera, I think down the third baseline. Mom kept texting me too. Did you see Dustin? Dustin's down there. Did you see him? Yeah, he's on there. So we were getting all that, and then I think Dustin put out a video too of his kids in some sort of push trolley
rickshaw
thing. Rickshaw.
Yeah,
and they're go Jays, like big Jays win, and Marshall's like, this is the best time of my life. It was all going down. So I mean, that's I think how you want to do a family vacation. And they were in the midst of it there Saturday night, just loving it. So my good will be to Dustin Nielsen, clearly enjoying. He can't separate himself. There are texts flying through and emails still being sent, and hey, do this, do that, and all that. But that he's a proud papa of this place, so you can't separate him too much. But it looks like he is enjoying his time, and he will be back in the chair come Thursday morning, in town for the game Wednesday as well. My bad from the weekend, and I kind of the Leafs thing too is one I kind of want to get to there, but I'm going to go with the Evander Kane stuff just because it's just good, the timing of it all.
Yeah.
Right? And again, I'm not going to get into. I am not going to go down any conspiratorial paths this morning with you. I'm just going to simply report, and we can discuss what's been said, what we see on the surface, and that's it. If you want to have your theories, please type them out in great detail into the nasty chat, and we can all fight with them in there, or text them in as well. Wouldn't mind reading a few. Sign your name, though. Be somebody if you want, and show your work and be proud of it. But it's a bad scenario. It's bad for him. It's bad for the team. I mean, you want a guy, like just on the surface of it, you want a guy that is a perennial 20-goal scorer to be coming into this thing, not announcing that he's dealing with a sports hernia prior to game one. That's just bad. Yeah. Again, not conspiratorial, just the situation at hand when he's dealing with something like this. And the fact that, again, Vegas doing what they're doing with the LTIR, who knew what and when did they know it? And could we have maybe done a little something better and been a little more creative with the roster management? So that's bad. And I don't know. I'm sure most Oilers fans would agree. Trev, I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
With good old Evander.
Just as it is. I mean, we don't need to go down any...
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and I was going to ask Gager this, but a lot of people are in the nasty chat are, is this just the easy way out? Is he just saying this just because maybe he didn't have the best season, by his standards? So it's interesting. Hearing what he said it's kind of, I'm just getting used to it. This is kind of the first year where we had, for him being an Oiler, where we've heard some, questionable things that he said, but... it sucks. Like I definitely think that there is something there, and you kind of see it, right? I feel like with this injury, because there was spurts, like he just come out and he'd look like a complete different player, and then something was off. So I would not be surprised. Here's hoping though, like this last week and a bit, it did help him out, because when he's on, he's the year where they went to the Western Conference Final, he was such a dominant player for them. And I'm not going to say they're going to need that, but, man, if he can produce that for this Oilers team where, they're already having career years for a lot of players, it's just going to be so insane. So here's hoping that everything's fine with Evander, and because that's going to be such a huge asset if he's 100%. And I don't think he's going to be 100%, but he's such a valuable player.
But we want players to be forthcoming and give us their honest opinion.
We want the personality. We
scream, and then we chastise them for when they are too honest or give us too much. So it's a fine line, and it's just the way hockey players are for the most part. It's to get the puck deep, give it 110%, and quick shifts. That's the
wheel.
Now you're getting someone that's actually telling you how he feels, and so granted, some stuff should be held back with Evander Kane. I think at some times he wears his
timing
heart
and
on
substance. You can argue sometimes.
But you know what? I think for media, he's a breath of fresh air to actually let us in. Give us a little bit of more a skate to survive, so to speak, on the next Netflix show with
Skate to survive.
He'd be great to have.
Well, and think of it, when they have the intro, instead of the car going, you have a skate going shh, you've got it there.
We can do it.
You've got it all. That's perfect. My ugly though, and this is the last time I'll talk about it. Soccer earmuffs. FA Cup semifinal yesterday, and I was this close. Matthew Iwanek must have been throwing every piece of furniture around his palatial 23rd story apartment building that he had, because Man United were 3-0 up. 3-0 up at the 70th minute at Wembley. It's a tournament, right? In-season tournament. Yeah. And it's at Wembley. So this is your big one, semifinal. You're 3-0 up at the 70th minute against Coventry, a team in the championship, so the league below you. Coventry roar back to tie it. They score the tying goal in extra time, injury time, to force overtime. It goes to penalty kicks. Man United end up winning it 4-2. But Iwanek was this close to having a disastrous Sunday, which would have led to a more disastrous Monday with me here needling him. So the ugly will be Coventry letting that slip, but it also could have easily been Man United and letting a 3-0 goal slip, 3-0 lead slip at Wembley. So good on United, I guess. I can't believe I'm saying this. But they'll ultimately face Man City again and lose in the final, so I look forward to that. But the ugly's got to be for Coventry, coming oh so close to securing that come-from-behind win down Wembley Way over Manchester United. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Abutski says, my 16-6 Cleveland Guardians and their plus 53 run differential. Whoo, Cleveland rocks, hey? Baseball, baby. And we talked about the Jays failing to complete the sweep down in San Diego. They're in KC later this evening. It's a 4-game set with the Royals. Yusei Kikuchi to the mound. Baseball will probably take a bit of a backseat over the next little while, but I appreciate the play there, Abutski. Go Guardians. Pirates still up there as well. They were playing pretty good baseball as of the early start to the season. But I don't mind a little baseball talk sprinkled in with these Stanley Cup playoffs. Why not? 780-218-9999. Bones says Marshall sounds a lot like a thief. We'll have to bookmark that text, Bones, and relay it to Dusty when he gets back. This text, unsigned, please sign your names, also allows the talk to be about Kane and not Connor/Leon. Aha, I was waiting for this theory to come in. Falling on the sword to kind of take the attention away from everybody else. Bit of that play in there, would you say, Gage? Or
it could be.
Yeah.
You
could use it that way if you want.
He's got one of these at home, and maybe he's making the ultimate sacrifice right now.
But LT, it's called extra time. Yeah, I'm being corrected on soccer terminology.
I know.
That's a great thing here, hey? Oilers' keys to victory: bring the Mike Smith to every game and keep him in sight of Talbot every night. The buff puffin. Well, and that's what I'd like to ask: keys to not just a win tonight, but the series overall. Of course, I think we know how these teams stack up, and the Oilers probably being supreme in the skill department currently. Most certainly with your top six and kind of that your heavy hitters, your big dogs. Goaltending might be a cause of concern, maybe for the Kings. But let us know. Storyline 780-218-9999. How will the Oilers be beating this Kings team? What's the form and fashion? And do we have a Fernando Pisani as well that we'd like to kind of give that badge to? Is there anybody from the bottom six or a lesser known player from this orange and blue squad that'll kind of turn it on come playoff time and take this team where they need to go? 780-218-9999. But we'll get into a sports update, and as promised, Craig Button coming up just after the top of the hour. We'll get his thoughts on the Stanley Cup playoffs thus far, and a pair of game ones to go tonight, including the Stars and Golden Knights, and right here, Oilers and Kings. But a sports update for Centric Casino, and we'll be back with Craig Button following the break. Oilers and Kings, Game 1 tonight down at Rogers Place. Tom Gazzola, he'll get you set. He'll be live at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall with your GCL Diesel pregame show coverage starting at 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. And Tom will also be back tonight following the game with the post-game show. Yesterday, the Panthers taking a 1-0 series lead, grounding the Lightning 3-2. Rangers over the Capitals 4-1. They lead that series 1-0. Jets winning a wild one in Game 1 over the Avalanche 7-6. And the Canucks doubling up Nashville 4-2 to take Game 1 over the Preds. Tonight, Bruins host the Leafs up 1-0. Hurricanes at home holding a 1-0 lead over the Islanders. And as mentioned, Game 1 between the Stars and Golden Knights. That's coming to you from Dallas. Toronto Blue Jays taking 2 of 3 from the Padres over the weekend as they fall 6-3 yesterday in the series finale. Jays will remain on the road. They're in KC tonight to open a 4-game set with the Royals. They'll send Yusei Kikuchi to the mound. First pitch 5:40. NBA playoff action tonight. Magic visit the Cavs down 1-0. The Sixers, they're on the road to battle the Knicks. New York leading that series 1-0. The Lakers will look to even up their series with the Nuggets, trailing 1-0 tonight. That Game 2 goes in Denver. Yesterday, it was the Celtics 114-94 over the Heat. Clippers 109-97 defeating the Mavs. Bucks topping the Pacers 109-94, and the Thunder with a slim 94-92 Game 1 win over the Pelicans. Sports update brought to you by the Sports Bar and Lounge at Centric Casino on Fort Road. Your home for all of the Oilers playoff action. Don't miss a minute of the Cup run. Catch all the action at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
Could have been different, but it was bad from the start. Should have been easier, but we both made it hard. Would have been better if we just stayed apart. Took a little breather before aiming for the heart. Dug a little deeper, wonder why we are who we are. Found the worst in each other.
EST House Band. Thank you, Gage. That's somebody's got to shut him up in there. It's too long. Whale and the Wolf. You can check them out online. Whale and the Wolf, 2 animals, one sea, one land. They come together to bring you some great brand of erotic rock, as they like to call it. So check them out today. Whale and the Wolf, local Edmonton band, doing some good stuff. And probably a couple good tunes in that catalog. At least they'll get you set for the playoffs and get you really randy and where you need to go. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. Craig Button is coming up as well. He'll be by in just a few minutes. We got the text of the day to A&W as well. 780-218-9999 is the new Stacker Burgers now available at A&W. Lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and a new secret sauce that is bound to have you coming back for more. You can grab a single, double, or triple stacker. They start at $3.99. Go get your stackers today. As Gage mentioned, you want to plan this thing right. The sun is just coming up, but have some food before you start digesting in the other secret sauces that you'll probably engage in later
Popeye's
today.
wings are always nice.
The Popeye's wings. Popeye's losing.
It's a nice start.
Do an EST mix bag. Go to Popeye's, get a few wings, get a couple of those stackers from A&W, and hit Mr. Mike's, wash it down with them. You can also get the 6 o'clock loggers. They're $1 off too for the 4 packs at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. So lots going on as we get set to drop the puck on Game 1 between the Oilers and Kings tonight. Is Craig is he warming up there? No. We'll wait for Craig Button. He'll be by courtesy Pro-Am Sports in a matter of moments. But 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. This text, Jason, my good was drafting Dylan Holloway in the last pick of the night in my playoff pool. My friends in Winnipeg all said, who? Well, here's an opportunity as well, perhaps, maybe for young Holloway to get a little something as well with the Kane news yesterday. Whistle Dog says, Dylan Holloway is my vote for the Pisani-like performer, but not until the second round. Bonnie Dune Ron, back to that semi-final FA Cup. VAR is crap. Coventry got robbed. I have to agree there as well. Man, you almost lost an injury time. You got enough soccer. Jeez, is everybody talking? This is enough of this stuff. Why is this good? Millwoods Matt says, my good, the Leafs choking hard in game one. Adding to your good, Gage. My bad, the Predators giving up 2 goals in 12 seconds to lose game one. And
they looked good, though.
Well, and as they should. I think they weren't seen as any form of lesser wild card opponent.
No, I was watching that game, especially in the second period. The Nashville Predators were the better team for a lot of that game, or that period. Sorry, they had the Canucks hemmed in there. That's going to be a good series, I think. The Canucks are good. They play fast, but I can see that going at least 6 or 7 as well with both those goaltenders.
Certainly, from an Oilers point of view, we hope for a long, physical, drag him out, draw him out series. But yes, Canucks and Predators game 2 that'll be going tomorrow night. And some other action yesterday, of course, Panthers over the Lightning 3-2. Rangers, Capitals, maybe not so much surprising there, 4-1. And Jets winning that wild affair down Winnipeg way 7-6. And as some people mentioned, too, I mean, it's a 7-game series. Maybe a bit of a win for Colorado, knowing that you can pump that many goals past a guy like Connor Hellebuck. You got to kind of take this thing and say, okay, game 1, flush it. But we know that we can crack the code of this guy.
Short memories in playoffs.
Short memories
is what you need most of all. But you got to think that going up against a Connor Hellebuck, if you're going to put up 6 most nights, that you're giving yourself a pretty good chance. I don't think that's going to happen, but very exciting for the fans in Winnipeg for sure.
46-23 the shots, Colorado, doubling them up. And in the end, it's Winnipeg getting away with that 7-6 Game 1 victory. But we are joined, it looks like, by Craig Button. Mr. Flex, fantastic. He's in again, and we thank him for his time. He's brought to you by TSN's Craig Button. Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead, St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or visit them online at proamsports.ca. Like they are sports nerds and AM nasties too. I know the car flags. What a day for those! Hey, with the wind and everything, you get a couple of those off your whip going. But certainly get down to Pro-Am. They'll fix you up. They'll get you Game 1 Stanley Cup playoffs ready. And without any further ado, TSN's Craig Button. Craig, hasn't been a long time since you spoke last, and thank you very much once again for being a 5-2 player and flexing your way in. We'll get started on the Oilers and Kings. Certainly lots to discuss there leading up to Game 1 tonight. But what have you thought through the opening weekend? What's that main thing that kind of jumped off the page for you following the first couple of days of Stanley Cup playoff action?
Well, I think just what you and Joaquin were just talking about, 6 past Connor Hellebuck. You got the Jennings Trophy winner. You have the team that had the best goals against in the Winnipeg Jets. So 6. Listen, anytime you get 6 on Connor Hellebuck and the Winnipeg Jets, you should have a win, and they didn't come close. I mean, when your goaltender, and Georgiev has been beyond bad. I mean, in 6 games, I put it out on social media. In 6 games, 2 against Winnipeg, 1 against Nashville, Edmonton, Dallas, and Vegas. 6 games since March 30th. The save percentage is .811. I don't know what. There's not a beer league in the country that you're going to win with that kind of goaltending. It's awful. And I mean, I felt for Jared Bednar because they're asking him. They never asked him about Georgiev. They kept asking, how's Annunen? How's Annunen? How's Annunen? It was I'm not so sure that, I know Annunen's sick, but, I don't know how you keep going back to Georgiev. The puck now has got to look as big as a pea. And Joaquin, you know this, when a goaltender is in a rhythm, it looks as big as a beach ball. And when he's not, it looks as big as a pea. And right now, Georgiev isn't seeing anything.
So, Craig, it feels great to get the 6 on Hellebuck, but do you think that it kind of evens out because you saw what Adam Lowry was able to do against Nathan MacKinnon and outscore him in a game, do I know he still scored, but do a pretty adequate job of defending against a guy that's probably going to win the Hart Trophy this year.
Yeah, when it's interesting when you think about it. Like the Jets have 3 really good centers. It frees up Scheifele and Monahan. I don't think Rick Bowness has a problem putting any of those 3 centermen against McKinnon. And I think the key against McKinnon is keeping him off balance. And, Nathan McKinnon's so good, so dynamic. You can throw Lowry at him, give him a little change there, play him against Scheifele. So the benefit that Rick Bowness has is that he's got 3 centers that can play, I think, against him. And he doesn't have to play just one in a straight matchup. I mean, Adam Lowry's a terrific. I had him in my top 5 of Selke voting. That's how good he is. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that, Adam Lowry can go head-to-head with Nathan McKinnon. But, when you have Nathan McKinnon and you know how dynamic he is, I mean, you have to have players that can think with him, that can compete with him, that can skate with him, and work off. Try to keep him away from his strengths. And I thought the Jets did a really nice job of that against the Colorado team. I mean, no Drouin. I don't think they're deep enough to win a Stanley Cup. I just don't think they are. I don't think they're deep enough to beat the Winnipeg Jets. And I think that they wasted an opportunity scoring 6 past Hellebuck, because I don't think that's going to happen again in this series. I really don't.
Craig, just skating along here and remaining in the West, Vancouver taking Game 1 last night over Nashville by a score of 4-2. Dakota Joshua with an empty netter, but Vancouver with 2 quick ones midway through the third. Nashville, 2-1. You're heading into the final frame on the road. They end up out shooting the Canucks, albeit by 1. But a pretty even affair there, and you see this one also going the distance. And for Oilers fans, perhaps if you do, in fact, get out of that opening round, this could be a matchup where you just kind of, hey, keep going. 7 games, let's play a best of 14. Why not? Keep it going. But your thoughts on last night and the Preds, just falling short there in the end.
Joaquin, I don't know if you know this, but in the Western Hockey League, long before you got to the Western Hockey League, that's exactly what they used to do. This series is pretty good. Let's make it a best of 9. Oh, wait a sec. They just kept adding dates. The people got excited and everything. So Eric, your idea isn't so far-fetched. I really felt that since end of February, beginning of March, Rick Tocchet's been trying to get his team into the mindset to play the game, the exact game they played last night. We're going to play straight ahead. We're going to play against a hard team, and we're going to have to find a way to grind it out. We're going to have to find a way to win one more puck battle. We're going to have to find a way to get one more goal. They were home and cooled out with respect to the playoffs at the beginning of March. But are you ready to go into the playoffs? And I really thought watching that game last night, that's exactly what Rick Tocchet wanted to see. The Nashville Predators had 99 points. You think of that Central Division, with Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, and it's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet through there. So the fact that Vancouver ended up getting a real hard team in Nashville, I don't think that they thought it would be easy. And you're right. When you're playing in a series and you're going to play the winner of that series, you want to take care of your own business and then keep going long, make it hard. And I think every team does that. When they're not playing. So last night, like the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kid, they're going, okay, yeah, keep going. This is good. We like this, and make it long and drawn out as much as you can. But Nashville's a good team. They're a really good team, and they have the good goaltender. They have Yossi, and for me, I don't know what you guys think, but. I don't know what to make of Elias Pettersson, because Elias Pettersson is looking like he could play for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, not show up for the playoffs.
TSN's Craig Button joining us this morning, courtesy Pro-Am Sports, in for Darren Dreger, who will be on with us tomorrow morning. But, Craig, let's get to the main course here. Oilers-Kings tonight, Game 1. The city, we said Friday, it's going to feel like a Friday. Here come Monday. And sun's coming up. People are anxious. What do you see, I guess, overall from this series when it's all done and dusted? And I'm not necessarily looking for a predictor, and you can share one if you like. But what do you think is the main narrative coming out of this series, whichever way it goes? Is it maybe goaltending reigning supreme when it comes to the Oilers and looking at the Kings? Is it something surrounding maybe Evander Kane? And we heard his words yesterday in dealing with a sports hernia. Is it just McDavid and Draisaitl going ultimately nuclear? How do you kind of see this thing playing out? What's the grand narrative when you head into round 2?
I mean, you gave me multiple choice. I could say all the above. I'm picking Edmonton to win. I'm picking Edmonton to win here. Last year, Stuart Skinner was on the all-rookie team, had a fantastic run, and he ran into a little bump in the road in the playoffs. But Grant Fuhrer said this. Grant Fuhrer said, in my first year in the NHL, had a good rookie year. I got to the playoffs, and I said I got overwhelmed. He says you learn from that. You go through that. Nobody wants to go through it, but you learn from it. And watching Stuart Skinner, I thought Jay Woodcroft made an egregious error at the beginning of the year when he anointed Jack Campbell the number 1 goaltender. After everything that Stuart Skinner had done last year, I thought that was the most egregious error he made. Because I don't you want your goal. I mean, I really felt Stuart Skinner was his guy, but he decides to put a stake in the ground on Jack Campbell. You'll have to ask Jay why he did that. Stuart really found his game. The Oilers found their game. And now, come this playoff time, it's an opportunity for Stuart to take all those lessons, the lessons that Grant Fuhrer said he learned from, and apply them now. I think he will. I think the Edmonton Oilers have found a level of play that they know can give them success. I think they're deeper. I think they're stronger. And I think that the way they carried themselves, obviously, you start out the way they did. There's a little bit of angst in the city. I'm sure the players had a little bit of angst. But the way they just kind of stuck with it, they just, nose to the grindstone. Let's just continue to play. That's playoff hockey. That's what you've got to do. And I would suggest that the Edmonton Oilers, save for the last 2 games of the regular season because they just didn't matter, I thought they did that exact thing. Like when they got in the hole and they just kept playing and they kept playing and they kept playing and they kept playing. I think that's what you need to do come playoff time. I think they're already in the mindset. I think they're already in the physical state. And everything that they've gone through the last number of years, I think those are experiences that I think will benefit them this year.
So do you
I don't think the LA Kings are anywhere near the Edmonton Oilers. And everybody talk. I know LA Kings 1-3-1. The 1-3-1 ain't going to work against the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, you just answered my question there, Craig. So I thought because there was and I think we spoke about this last time we were speaking, that there was a game at the beginning of the year where the LA Kings played a fast, up-tempo, forward-checking type of game that had some success, albeit for 20 minutes. But do you think that are the LA Kings going to change their style of play? Does that 1-3-1? It's not going to mean a lot in the playoffs unless they try to match the tempo that the Oilers can play with, or is that just playing with fire and not? They just can't keep up with that type of speed and intensity.
It's interesting, Joaquin, because all I can think about is like, okay, LA Kings, pick your poison.
Yeah.
Do you want to die by cyanide? Do you want to die by hanging? Do you want to die just a second? That's my wife. Sorry, so how do you want to die? They play the style of game that is such that that's how they got to play, and that's what they played. If they want to go up tempo with the Edmonton Oilers, go ahead, go up tempo. I don't think the Oilers. Again, back to where they've been at and what they've shown me this year. Throw me the 1-3-1. We'll play the 1-3-1. Throw me up tempo. Play the 0-5 check. We'll play. That's what good teams do. Whatever you throw at them, they can adjust. And I really am. Obviously, I wasn't impressed with them heading into the season. I know a lot of people picked them to be a star. I wasn't in that camp. I knew they had a good team. I knew they were a contender. Don't get me wrong. And then they started out, and it's kind of like. But after they got rolling here with Chris Knobloch, the moves they've made, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in this Edmonton Oilers team.
Basically, what you've all just said, Craig, is, I mean, if the Kings are to find success some way, some form in this series, it'd have to be the Oilers essentially beating themselves. As we said, they can sometimes be their own worst enemy. Do you put any case into this voodoo game one? Oh, game ones and teams losing. And I've always thought, too, with this Oilers team, and I know they're older now, and I know they've kind of, as you mentioned, Stuart Skinner, the team growing into their own and going over these learning pains and everything. But I always like them when they kind of have their backs to the wall and they feel like it's them against the world as opposed to this celebration in a game one. But I guess what you're saying is the only thing that the Kings can hope for is the Oilers kind of maybe mentally collapse on themselves some way or some time through the series? Because, I mean, would PLD finding himself be any sort of, barometer to watch for the Oilers? Like, is there anything that the Kings could do to kind of, you mentioned it's death by 1,000 cuts and kind of picking your poison. So is there anything from an Oilers standpoint that you would be somewhat concerned about when it comes to the LA Kings?
I guess you could always say, like, don't be complacent, be ready to go. Game
but
one.
If that's it, that's a good answer then. Hey, I mean, that's what you'd want as a.
Yeah, but and again, you watch where the Edmonton Oilers are at. I believe that one of the top rules of winning is don't beat yourselves. Don't beat yourself. And again, like, you're younger, you get pressing, you want to do a little bit more when a little bit more isn't required, understanding when you need a little bit more, when you just got to keep playing along. I think the Edmonton Oilers are in that space now. And yeah, there's always I wouldn't call it a concern, but if the Edmonton Oilers want to be complacent, if the Edmonton Oilers want to dip a toe into the water, well, then, yeah, you might be able to give your opponent a little bit of hope, a little bit of opportunity. And then, when you start going and another team starts to get a belief that, it's the same thing that happens within a game. And the playoff series is that if they start in a series or a game and then they go, well, geez, we're here, we may as well try to win. Don't, kill the spirit, right from minute one. Yeah. Just dictate it. And I think the Oilers can do that. I think they can go right after it and dictate the game and make the LA Kings have to respond to what the Oilers do. I mean, the Oilers are going to be smart. I think they're going to be a real capable team, but kill the spirit as early as you can.
So you're saying that the Leafs' spirit has been killed in game one against the Boston Bruins?
Joaquin, I picked the Toronto Maple Leafs. I thought the Leafs were capable of being able to, take advantage of their offensive play against, the Boston Bruins. I mean, Swayman was really good.
Yeah.
But I'll be straightforward. After the game, when I hear it's just pablum. It's pablum coming out of Matthews' mouth. It's pablum coming out of Keith's mouth. It's pablum. There is no, I see no fire. I mean, I see nothing coursing through their veins that says, this is garbage. We can't do this. Well, we'll try to be better. We had our looks. You've lost 8 straight games to the Boston Bruins. You've scored 15 goals in those 8 games. You're supposed to be an offensive juggernaut. And your attitude and your approach is one, well. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. It's disgusting. I would be so mad listening to that and watching that. Get fired up and start getting mad. That scene from Network. I'm fed up and I can't take it anymore. They just hey, hit me again. Oh, it's spirit. For your spirit to be broken, you got to start with a spirit, don't you, Joaquin?
Yeah, no, I mean, watching that, I was waiting for some, you mentioned back in the day, I remember as a kid going to New Westminster, watching those best of 9 series against Kamloops players that were scary. They were scary to watch. Usually when the game gets to a certain point, and I know the game has changed, but there is a little bit of, especially when you get into a 7-game series against a team that's dominated you, there's a little bit of email, a little bit of sending a message to the other team, look, you won this battle, but the war is far from over, and there was nothing. That was a conceded game from very late in that, and that's got to be so disturbing as a coaching staff, as management, that the players just don't have any of that anger of where they're situated in that series. If I'm a Leafs fan, I'm thoroughly disappointed, like you said.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I mean, somebody said to me, well, if they play a game like that again, like, yeah, I like their chances of winning. If they play a game like that again, they might have to like declare the series over after 2 games.
Dean Asplund in our YouTube chat says Marner should have his handicap down to a 3 by the end of April. So I guess that's the indication of the listeners here. They're fired up. Craig, we had to go there, but we appreciate you flexing in this morning on a Monday as well, and your time and everything. And enjoy Game 1 tonight, man. We'll talk soon.
Nothing more exciting, honestly. I think the Edmonton, I think that Rogers, that's one of the best playoff environments anywhere. I mean, I'm already tingling because lucky. Get her going.
TSN's Craig Button. We thank him for his time this morning. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead, St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or visit them online, proamsports.ca, and you can find Craig Button and all his good work at TSN as well. But I'm glad you went with the Leafs thing because we had to go there. And it just, I mean, it's a grand unifier in the hockey world.
I know.
You know, I mean, you can hate the Bruins as much as you want to, but who cares? It's the Leafs losing. I mean, that's just, you mentioned it too. It's not a one-off. This is, you're engaged in a war now. You lose the first battle, and you're like, I'm turning in my bayonet, to speak.
I found that game so funny because they came out and they wanted to say we're tough, and they completely took themselves out of the. You still have to play the game. And they end up giving up a 2-on-1 right away, and the other team and the Bruins scoring.
So game one,
it's just game
like
one.
These games. Maybe you could argue like a game. It's a tight series. Maybe a game 5 it turns. You can feel it like feel like it's dropped. They've or 6 or whatever. 1
game. Weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. I think the Leafs can get it back a little bit, but just you hear what they say after. It's just gross.
Pablum Leafs. Teef texts in. Maybe that's what they go by moving forward. Zulu says, can't wait for tonight. Austin Matthews is pissed he didn't get his 70 goals. He's still pouting. Comes in from Wheels. Wheels is on fire tonight. We still got your anthem, Wheels, I know, and we'll be editing that and going through that as we make our way through the show this morning. Did mention, though, Jonty from Victoria had some cool Game 1 playoff primer vignettes, I want to say. I'm just going to, let's get to one here prior to a Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day.
Oh, behave.
Tipped. Perry shoots and scores. CC shoots and scores! Ryan McLeod! KB is Connor Brown's first goals in Oilers! Listen in and score! Jason Strudwick wins it in overtime!
Who the hell are you, all of a sudden?
An unlikely hero!
Are you kidding me? Who would have thought Jason Strudwick would get a shift in overtime?
Wow. Draisaitl keeps, shoots, scores!
17 seconds remaining. Here's to Stefan, and he goes in, and he missed the bell. And now here's a long pass to Ryan Smith in front of Himsky. Himsky with 2 seconds to play in the third period.
What a beautiful play! He's done it again! Coast to coast!
Are you kidding me?
The Oilers pouring it on! Wow! Game over!
There you have it, another piece from Jonty and Victoria getting you set for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight between the Oilers and Kings from Ice District. And we'll get you set throughout the day, both on this show, the Hangout, Lock Shop coming up later on today as well. Huss out of Winnipeg Sports Talk. He'll be joined by one of Jake Boland-Moss or P. Greggy, and they'll be going over your Stanley Cup lines and bets of the day. If you want to get on CoolBet right now, coolbet.com is where you can go. Kings, Oilers, get the money line, get the total, get the spread, get the whole thing. Obviously, some player props as well you can get in there. I don't know if you've been looking at sprinkling anything tonight in terms of coolbet.com, but if you are looking, that's the place to go, coolbet.com. Stay cool, bet responsibly.
I've stayed away from it so far.
I know.
But,
I can't.
I do look. I love I like to build my parlays, but like I said,
and then keep it in the garage with the
yeah.
cover on. Yeah.
They become too extravagant.
Hey, take a look at this parlay. Yeah, do you ever drive it? Nope, just stays right in there, baby. It doesn't. Don't get it ruined or anything. I do miss Mr. Lean though for the show, as he does have a cool bet account, but only bets in cents. Like it's 10-cent bet here. Yeah. I think he's up to about $16 right now in his bank.
Okay, maybe. I'll have an account. I'll throw some money in my account by Wednesday. How about that?
The penny slots. Why not?
Then
you got to do something like that. But Cool Bet, our partners on the betting scene. Once again, check them out. CoolBet.com. And they'll have everything you need to know for the Oilers and Kings series as well, the Stanley Cup playoffs as a whole. But check them out today. CoolBet.com. Let's get into I guess we'll do a sports update here. After that, we'll finish up hour number 2 with a little I Says Pardon. We got your Vegas keyword as well coming up at around 7:40. Be by your phones for that. That's good, courtesy of the Italian Center. That'll round out the second hour. Trivia, 3 questions too many, and then get you set for the game tonight with an orange and blue breakfast. And Ryan Rashad from TSN and the Got Your Back podcast will be joining us to round out the show. But let's get to a sports update, and we'll be back with a little I Says Pardon and that Vegas keyword as well. So be by your phones. We'll have that word coming up. But sports update here brought to you by Park Mazda. Oilers-Kings Game 1 of that opening round series starts tonight here in Edmonton, Rogers Place. Tom Gazzola, he'll get you set. He'll be live Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. And have your GCL Diesel pregame show coverage begins 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can hear him on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps and as well on YouTube. Tom will also be by following tonight's game, breaking it down on the GCL Diesel postgame show. YouTube Trev will be alongside wall-to-wall coverage of the Oilers and Kings series starting tonight, Game 1, 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, or join us at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. Yesterday, around the opening round, the Panthers taking a 1-0 series lead over Tampa with a 3-2 defeat of the Lightning. Rangers topping the Capitals 4-1. New York taking Game 1. Jets winning a wild Game 1 down in Winnipeg over the Avs 7-6. And the Canucks doubling up Nashville 4-2 to take a 1-0 series lead. Tonight, Bruins host the Leafs up 1-0. Hurricanes at home, holding a 1-0 lead over the visiting Islanders in a Game 1 between the Stars and Golden Knights down in Dallas. Blue Jays falling in the series finale yesterday down in San Diego. They lose 6-3 to the Padres, failing to complete the 3-game sweep. Jays will remain on the road. They visit KC tonight to open a 4-game set. They'll send Yusei Kikuchi to the hill. First pitch, 5:40. NBA playoff action, a trio of Game 2s tonight. Cavs host the Magic, leading 1-0. Sixers visit the Knicks, down 1-0. And the Lakers in Denver to take on the Nuggets, also trailing that series 1-0. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who always dips his body in blue paint prior to Game 1.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu.
Yes, please.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all at the back. Like Rishaug and Noodles, Captain can gauge it. Maybe it's fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Shaggy's always on time, Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat left the tie of fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about Evander Kane's? Macramella, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin in the tales of the North. All about him giving person, does he go for? What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it, indeed. What say you? 7:33 on the Nielsen Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as we're having a little fill-up here for the crew. YouTube Trev's got his cup. What's that, cup number 2 for you today? Joaquin, you got... Wait, are you looking at a cup? What do you have in there? Americano in the morning or just a regular?
No, this is a dark roast.
Dark roast?
Dark roast black.
Love it. Black, yeah. My man, that's the way to go. We coffee black around these parts. As I'll have a splash of milk, but sugar ruins good coffee in my humble.
Oh gosh, yeah. My wife loves the sweet coffees. It's a milkshake. It's terrible. I don't know how she does it, but
I get if you're going down on a frap, but you know what I mean. I get it, but like a good.
Even
coffee.
Then, I'm like, God, that's sweet. Like the people that have those on a daily basis.
Well, it's
that's
biannually.
Yeah.
Time for my frap. Joel tapped out. Send one my way. I'd love to send some coffee, an electronic coffee, if we could, but we can't. Not yet here at EST. Maybe, but Matthew, could be on it. I want to get mentioned as well as I mentioned in that song, Tales of the North. We did have a special Tales of the North Game 1 for you earlier in the show, so if you did miss it, you can listen back in the pod afterwards. You basically don't miss anything on the show. You can always have a second, third, or fourth chance or view it at your leisure. You can also scroll back in the YouTube if you are watching. But at Tales of the North, as I should have mentioned, brought to you by Chris Boyle, Lord of Life Assurance, Sentinel of Life's Legacy, Guardian of Livelihoods, Protector of Paychecks, shielding against life's tribulations, Warden of Fortunes, shielding against life's trials, Lord of Corporate Well-Being, and it goes on and on. But Chris Boyle, experienced advisor with over 17 years of experience working with both families and businesses. So you can check him out today. Christopher Boyle, he is our proud sponsor and also a part-time character of the Tales in the North segment. So we thank you, Christopher Boyle, for allowing us and sending us your services and in your steed and all of that good stuff. 780-218-9999. Have another Tales of the North as well Wednesday morning. Do believe you will be in again?
I'll be in again, yeah.
Jason Milne in tomorrow to recap Game 1. Joaquin Gage back with me Wednesday morning. And as we anticipate the return of Dustin Nielson Thursday for the NFL Draft.
Wow.
He's back. I think everybody's like, oh, why would you start a station and then you go off while the team's in the opening round? No, he's planning this right. He knows the first 2 games, whatever, it's an Oilers thing. He'll be back for the draft. He'll be into that. The Lakers should be, 2-3-0 down by then in their series with the Nuggets. So,
well, what if the Lakers come back, the Oilers are winning? Does he just stay? Does he stay where he's at?
It's the Lakers that determine it. It's not the Oilers game, it's the Lakers series that determines it. I can see that. But Dustin away. He's on vacation with his family down in San Diego. Really want to get to this quick. We have the Vegas word coming up as well in a matter of minutes. Here I am rambling. But I says pardon right now, and that's brought to you by lawyer-central.com. Everybody makes mistakes. If you're looking to maybe get down to LA for a games 3 or 4, they can help you out. Get a clean slate for an affordable rate. Everybody makes stupid mistakes. If you're still paying for it, you don't have to. Visit www.lawyer-central.com/pardons or give them a call, 1-888-288-8177 to find out more about getting a pardon. They have lawyers across the country, coast to coast to coast. But Gager, from the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what made you jump up and say, I says pardon?
Again, I have to go back to that Leafs game.
It's too easy. It's Saturday night. It's hockey night in Canada. You can't kind of hide this thing away.
I expected something different, and looking at some of the experts in the field saying that the Leafs will win this series finally, and seeing the type of effort and the structure of the play, I was. What's going on here? It didn't make any sense to me. So unfortunately, it's the low-hanging fruit. But it was the biggest surprise to me over the sporting weekend.
And we're laser focused on the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs as we are, and I think most likely things will be going that direction. I have to jump up and look at that 7-6 game yesterday between the Jets. And again, we're not even low-hanging fruit. I'm pulling root vegetables here. Like that's the kind of, but it's easy. I mean, 7-6, and you're looking at. And I know Colorado's goaltending maybe, again, doesn't stack up necessarily to a Hellebuck, but even when he's in the mix, you would expect something different. I know an empty net goal, maybe a few questionable ones in Hellebuck, but just 7-6 is a hockey score. I don't care. Playoffs, exhibition, game, it's always these days something to kind of...
I loved it. You know what? The most enjoyable thing in that series, too, is to watch Morrissey and Makar going kind of head-to-head. Seeing two defensemen that are so dynamic and think at a higher level than most normal NHL players. Very enjoyable games. God, I just love the playoffs.
Well, the fight's within the fight. Those individual battles and matchups and the coaching, how they strategize.
It's great. It's kind of like I don't watch a lot of baseball, but when we get into the September, October,
every pitch
every pitch matters, and you start learning the batters line up, who's coming up. This is what it equates to in hockey. I love this time of year.
Coaches all around are just like, hey, welcome. I've been doing this for how many months now? You know what I mean? And they're all kind of like, this is how much detail you put in it. But yes, when you're in a series and it's tight. I do wonder, though, and just a quick thought, what's that matchup? I mean, we all circle around 97 to see who can try to shut him down. But, I mean, we did have somebody, I think, in the nasty chat saying, hey, if Pierre-Luc Dubois finds himself, I mean, that would be a hell of a boon for the Kings. Like, what quiet matchup maybe, again, nothing that we would pick from the top of the marquee, but something underlying, would you say that's one you're looking for in the series or one to keep an eye on?
That's a good one because I don't know. I'm not sure how the Kings would want to match up because you saw Quinton Byfield playing on the top line for most of the year, and now it seems to be demoted down to he only has 2 goals in 3 months, and I think one of those was in the last game of the year there. So I look at the Danault line. With Arvidsson, Trevor Moore, Danault, they have the 2 buzzsaws. I would probably see them try to go up against the McDavid line if the big 2 are separate. Well, even if they are together, and I think it's the heavyweight tilt between Anze Kopitar and Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah,
seeing the 2 big horses go up against one another and see who comes out on top because. Again, with Adrian Kempe, that's he's a tough one to stop. So that's the kind of matchup I'm looking forward to watching is Leon against that line.
If I murmur Adrian Kempe around here, YouTube Trev goes into a bit of a shock. He goes on the ground and starts But what I question to you, Trev? What matchup are you seeing? And maybe outside of the obvious, but I know Kempe is a guy that raises your level of concern. But anything else maybe underneath the surface that you would like people to keep an eye on tonight?
Well, yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how this year's Kings match up against the Oilers because I thought the PLD trade, you lose Alex Iafallo and Velarde,
great pieces,
and those players. They did very well against the Oilers in the last few years.
Last night, what they did against the Avalanche.
They're impact players, so it's going to be interesting to see. Those players aren't in. Obviously, you got PLD, and he kind of has all the tools to really be a good playoff player.
Can he and will he, though?
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's physical, he can skate, but he's a really good defensive forward as well, and he can chip in offensively. So that's going to be interesting. But Trevor Moore, that's a sneaky good player as well. He shows up. He really does, and he's got a heavy shot, man. You don't give him much time, and he'll grip it and rip it. So there's a lot of players that I'm like, okay, you're looking at this Kings lineup, and you're just like, okay, he's a good player. Okay, he's also a pretty good player. Yeah. And so the matchups, they're all there. It's going to be, I'd say the first 3 lines for the Kings and the first 3 lines for the Oilers. Looking at they have Pierre-Luc Dubois as the 4th line center right now for the Kings. So that's going to be interesting to see how that matches up. But yeah, a lot of good matchups. And as we've seen, Chris Knobloch, he's definitely not afraid to switch things around. So there's going to be plenty of matchups. I wouldn't be surprised. Philip Deneau is probably going to be against Draisaitl. Anze Kopitar is going to have his run-ins with McDavid as well.
Eric, you talked about the maturity level of the
They're old.
Oilers now.
Yeah, the oldest, aren't they? As we always hear now, the oldest team.
Yeah, you can't sleep on these Kings. Trev pointed it out. Those buzzsaws that I look at, the Fiala, Moore, Arvidsson, those guys.
I love them. I love them from I know maybe it's not breaking news, but I've been pretty bullish on the Kings.
Yeah.
Just even in the past couple of years, I just think that they're not necessarily going out to win a Stanley Cup. They set themselves up to beat or to nullify the Oilers. Now you can say the PLD trade maybe Yeah, maybe you stepped on one there. Maybe that was a step backwards, but
it doesn't matter. Regular season doesn't matter.
No,
right? It
exactly.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
So now let's see what the PLD has. Like this is why you got him for first round, going up against the Edmonton Oilers, being big down the middle, having that extra, that extra presence. So let's see. Let's see what happens.
And him with a Byfield on his way. Like, I mean, that's not too bad. And I guess we haven't mentioned here, and I mean, the blue line speaks for itself as well. The Oiler that never was in Vladislav Gavrikov, Drew Doughty leading the way, Mikey Anderson not afraid to do his thing, but maybe it is the goaltending. Somebody brought up in the nasty chat as well, I'll be looking for Stuart Skinner's first 10 minutes. Now, Talbot's had some good numbers. Obviously, though, in league leaders in terms of goaltenders, numbers can be a bit of a tricky thing to follow, and really how much stock do you put into it? But, I mean, between a Talbot and a Riddick?
Hey, Talbot's played amazing in this.
And you think he'd have some juice
arena.
on this one, too, right?
He's got a little bit more of a skin in the game here and trying to stick it to his old team. But watching that last game of the year and seeing some of the leakiness of Cam Talbot, and I know that it's a one-off kind of game, and he's got great numbers throughout the year. He was an all-star for crying out loud. But if you're going through the check marks of matchups against the Edmonton, I don't think you'd find too many people right now giving the edge to the LA Kings in that department. I think that check mark does go to Stuart Skinner. The D is an interesting thing to look at. Like, Drew Doughty, is he the Drew Doughty of old? No, but still quite an effective defenseman. And the ability to get under the skin of other people. This is another kind of game within the game. I can't wait to see if we see one Corey Perry up against both.
Well, that's the grand answer now, hey? Yeah.
Both like to speak a little bit. And, we all saw what Mikey Anderson, the breaker of ankles, has done in the past. So
maybe Perry is that overall answer here to kind of nullify the peskiness and the pestiness, and he's now the guy to take all that on and let everybody else do their thing.
I like it.
And I love, again, I say bullish on the Kings. I like talking about the enemy. I think we should suss them out, get them on the table, put the little pins in their body, and spread their carcass all over the place, and really get in there and explore everything. Because we know the Oilers, and we'll talk Oilers. Again, Ryan Rashad coming up third hour, the Got Your Back podcast. We'll suss over this team as well. But I find it fascinating kind of chewing over the enemy, and a familiar enemy over the past couple of years, but one that has kind of changed face slightly. And I think with those subtractions, I'll say, that went to Winnipeg, that also could be a decider maybe in the series moving forward. Nasty chatter, 780-218-9999. Dustin's on vacation. That's where he's at. He'll be back Thursday. Hit the likes on the YouTube as well. What are we sitting at here? 263. Still a pretty decent number.
I don't think we're getting 700.
700 we said, to make Dusty squirm. I said I'd play the Cassian goal, so I'll do whatever you want, really. I'm not begging. I'm not threatening. But there is bribery involved. So if you want something, let's make a deal. But hit those likes, 700. That's the goal this morning. Game 1 Stanley Cup playoffs for the Oilers. 7:46, we're behind it. I need a word. I need the sheet. I need the word. I need the word sheet. Be by your phones right now. We're qualifying another person to go to Vegas. Non-stop flights. It's courtesy our friends at Fly YEG. This is your chance to win a trip to Vegas. 2 non-stop flights, 3 nights accommodation, and tickets for a Cirque show presented by Fly YEG and the LVCVA. Non-stop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a non-stop flight from Fly YEG. You can visit www.flyyeg.com for more on this April 22nd. I'm flipping the page. Of course, our final week of qualifying, we'll be calling a lucky winner Friday morning. But this morning's word, you can text in 780-218-9999. Allegiant. Allegiant. All Edgiant. Allegiant. It's on the screen there if you're watching on YouTube. If you aren't, you might want to pull over or pause and get into YouTube. Allegiant. 780-218-9999. Text Allegiant to the Paris Jewelers inbox right now, and Trev will hit the randomizer. Call one lucky number, and we'll be speaking to you shortly. But Allegiant. Allegiant is the word today. Text 780-218-9999. Your next chance, your next word coming up with Matthew Iwanek during the Hangout. That's from 9 to 11 this morning. Allegiant. Allegiant. Allegiant.
Allegiant.
I couldn't even use it in a sentence right now.
I watched the movie Allegiant over the weekend.
Today's keyword is Allegiant. Does that work? 7802-899-99.
Good trilogy. I didn't mind it.
Why is Joel saying stay away from me? What did I do on the nasty chat?
Jeez.
Did I do some? What did I do to you? Allegiant 7802.
It's fired up. It's game one. It's
maybe that's
everyone's on edge.
Is that your that's good this morning? Let's get into that as well. We are knocking them down, setting them up, knocking them down. The Italian Center, another place to go for pregame tonight if you are feeling it. Stop by, get a panino, maybe a couple of pies. But we said prepare for the opening round. Stock your freezer. It is That's Good, brought to you by the Italian Center Shop. Spinelli Panino, a house-made baguette, topped with olive oil, oregano, roasted red pepper spread, then loaded with mortadella, capicola, Genoa salami, and provolone. Available hot or mild, wrapped up in deli paper for an easy grab-and-go meat for any occasion. That's good, and I know most people, I think, again, low-hanging fruit would be game one. Playoffs are finally here. It felt like an eternity the past couple of weeks. Playing the Coyotes, twice? You get the Sharks. What a gift. I know easier teams, but man, having to go through that. But this is where you want to be. This is the good stuff. It's the Kings. It's the Oilers again. But Gage, or anything else from the weekend, specifically probably relating to the Stanley Cup playoffs, that make you sit up and say, that's a good.
Well, you know what was really good? So good was to see Lando Norris on the podium again and fending off Checo at the end to take second place. That's they're talking about McLaren with some upgrades coming soon. That they're optimistic to close the gap between obviously Ferrari and getting a little bit closer to Red Bull too. So that was really nice. I think on a late Saturday night.
It's nice to see, and I hold no affinity for him or the team, but just for somebody to kind of get up there and make the conversation interesting.
Well, he's so good, I think, and he was in a car that didn't it was crap for a long, and now it's showing that there is something there with that team. I think there are two great drivers with him and Piastri. So I know one Hernan Salas is really happy because he's a McLaren guy.
That would be Hernan's probably celebrating in his own, and we know how he likes to celebrate. But maybe we'll see old Hernan out tonight at Hudson's Bourbon Street. Again, you can join Tommy Gazzola and us, Edmonton Sports Talk, West Edmonton Mall, Bourbon Street. Tommy will be there with the GCL Diesel pregame show. Festivities get going at 6. Show up early, and you won't be disappointed. That's good. We'll go to Masters champion Scotty Scheffler. He takes the RBC Heritage. He's been on fire. 5-shot lead, 3 holes to play, rain-delayed tournament. He won for the 4th time in his last 5 starts. The first player since Bernhard Longer in '85 to win the week after capturing the Masters green jacket. Now, as a plaid jacket from the RBC, we haven't kind of seen it's Tiger Woods type of stuff. Now we're not, this isn't him roaring yet or anything like that. But his 10th PGA Tour title, 4th of the season, once again on a hot clip. You throw a Masters win, just kind of smack dab in the middle of that. Not too bad for one Scotty Scheffler. So he'll be the individual that me spring up and say, that's good. From the weekend it was. Trev, do you got anything? I know it's hockey, right?
It's got to be hockey for me, of course. They're like, so I did do something that was that's good. I went to the driving range on the weekend, so I was like, it's that time of the year, which is exciting. But that time of the year also means that playoff hockey is back, and
you partied a bit too. Hey, you partied
I had a fun night last night. It was a pretty solid night. Can't complain.
I love it. Sunday night.
Yeah, it was a Sunday night.
I love it.
It was good. Good friends, good people, good times. But yeah, it was watching some hockey all weekend. It was great. I love it. Playoff hockey is it's my favorite time of the year, and you got to embrace it while it's here because it's there's going to be the dog days of summer, and you're just going to be like I'm so pumped. I can't wait for what hopes to be a very exciting playoff run for the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, it is like that. It's the first couple of days of March Madness.
Yeah.
Where it's the playoffs. You're at a house party at somebody's place. It's on, and it's on throughout the day, and it just keeps going, and then there's a next game and a next game, and everything's still fresh and new. I mean, nobody's out of it yet. Nobody's won it yet.
I like the lead up today. I like being out today.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I like seeing the cars and the anxiety. I like going to the supermarket or Sobeys.
Any business, it's just.
And they're just everyone's Hey, what are you doing? Where are you watching? What are you drinking? What are you eating?
And if you don't know what you're drinking yet, it's the Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Special. $1 off the 4-pack of 6 o'clocker lagers. Throughout the playoff run, it expires sometime in June. We don't need to worry about that, but it is on right now. Buck off 4 packs of 6 o'clocker lagers at select Sobeys and Safeway Liquors. Get them now. Here I'm saying 4-pack. Just get the case. Don't take it out of the cardboard. Pick up the whole bit and get it yourself. Dazzle your friends. You never want to have a fridge empty of 6 o'clocker lagers. So that's good. That's just it. Carnival atmosphere. It's game one. I do think too. I kind of like leaving it till the end. Let everybody else get their game ones out of the way. I know we've had to be a little patient in this market, but what's a couple more days of patience going to do? And tonight you get yours on a Monday evening down at Ice District. So should be pumping. I think the weather, as we mentioned, kind of leading into the weekend, taking a bit of turn for the better today. I want to let you know if you are getting out gallivanting. Mix of sun and cloud for today. 17 degrees this afternoon is the forecast. Little windy as well. But then into the evening, 2 degrees overnight. So getting a little chilly if you are at the Moss Pit late tonight. Bring a windbreaker, hey? Maybe that type of thing. Play off.
Yeah.
Play off the jacket or something like that.
And be respectful, everyone. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's have a good time and a long time.
780-218-9999 is the number to text. Nasty chat as well. I wish I drank still. That comes in from Zulu. Yeah, you know what? We'll have one for you. That's okay, man. Yeah. But I think enough allegiance have been texted in as well. Hey, we've got... yeah, we'll call somebody. We'll get to be by your phone now. If you did text in Allegiant, YouTube Travel gives somebody a call. You don't want to miss the call. If you do miss the call, don't even bother telling us because we'll rake you over the coals. You don't need to be proud of that. But be by the phone. Trevor will give somebody a call, and we'll get them on the air after the break here. But we'll hit a sports break right now. Also, if you want to play kind of easy trivia this morning, we're doing it all here. 780-218-9999 is the number to call. 25 or number to text. $25 on the line to Mr. Mike's as well. So be by your phones. Get on your phone if you want to play kind of easy trivia. And we'll be doing all that after 8 o'clock. 3 questions to mini on the way as well from Park Mazda. We got your orange and blue breakfast, to which Gage and I and YouTube Trev will take a bit of a deeper dive into this game one, letting you know the lineups, the scratches, and that sort of thing. And Ryan Rashad from TSN with the Got Your Back podcast. He'll also be joining us to carry you through hour 3 and lead up to the grand finale. So should be a packed remainder hour, and that all leads into the hangout and all of our other programming throughout the morning and afternoon here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And, of course, concluding this evening with the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Tom Gazzola, once again, live on location, Hudson's Bourbon Street tonight. Come down, say hi. He'll have the GCs. We'll be there as well. Great food, great drink, and great people. So get down there. Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. Tom Gazzola and your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage getting underway 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn apps, and as well on YouTube. Trev, just getting a qualifier. Maybe we'll take the qualifier here prior to the hour, talk to him a bit, see what he's, him or her, and we'll see if they've been to Vegas and what they want to do down there. How many times have you been there? 20?
Only once. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no. I don't, it's a weird, I was there because back in the day, Oilers had training camp there, and that's the only reason I went, so.
So, business.
All business.
Business trip. Yeah.
And I was scared. I was back in the infancy days of my career where I was told when curfew was, and I was there 5 minutes prior, like waiting. Oh, yeah.
Show up a little early. Yeah. It doesn't hurt to do that, eh?
Yeah. No.
Casino was on yesterday, the TV blurbed version with, F-bombs and everything.
Yeah.
I love that movie and reminding me of the flyaway.
Yeah.
Who do we got?
We've got Narinder
on
the line.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful. It's playoff hockey time.
Yeah, wonderful
Excited.
now. Yeah,
Got
playoff
put
hockey
my
time.
jersey up. Yeah.
You're a step closer to this Vegas trip, man. Have you been down to Las Vegas before?
I used to go a lot, different conferences and stuff, basketball conferences, leadership conferences. It was great. I went Summer League once, saw some Summer League basketball. I'm looking forward to winning. If I win, I'm looking forward to planning a trip, possibly around the Raiders and hockey.
Oh, I was just going to ask. It would be Raiders hockey, no F1. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I haven't quite got into it. That F1 for me is just driving the white mud every day.
Who would you bring along with you? You got a somebody, or are you gonna put this up for auction or something like that?
You know what? I do have somebody. My wife is going to be retiring shortly, and it will be something we'll do together. We've done that before. We have a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
It'd be a hell of a story, man, and congrats to her on her retirement. You'll be finding out as soon as this Friday. We'll be calling our grand prize winner, so be by your phone Friday morning, man, and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy tonight, Game 1, Oilers-Kings.
Yeah, go Oilers.
Let's
go. Guys. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Wow, what a way to kick off the retirement if that works out.
That's
great.
a great story.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
if you guys are going to win, I mean, I'm here for the storyline. I'm here for that narrative. But yes, your next chance coming up 9 to 11 with the Hangout. Matt Iwanek will be in giving your next shot, your next keyword at this Fly YEG contest. We'll hit a sports update. I know a few people have been texting in, wanted to play kind of easy trivia. So YouTube Trev will find somebody for that. 3 questions too many as well on the way after the break. Orange and Blue Breakfast and Ryan Rashad from the Got Your Back podcast, all on the way in hour number 3. First, a sports update brought to you by Cleburne Services. Oilers-Kings, Game 1 tonight down at Ice District. We'll get you set here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, he'll be live at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall for the GCL Diesel pregame show. Coverage begins 6:30 right here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. And you can join Tommy as well after tonight's game, taking your calls, reaction, chat on the post-game show. Wall-to-wall coverage of the Oilers' Stanley Cup pursuit. Yesterday, the Panthers winning Game 1 over the Lightning 3-2. Rangers also taking Game 1 of their series with the Capitals 4-1 down on Broadway. Jets win a wild one down in Winnipeg 7-6 over the Avs to take Game 1. And the Canucks doubling up Nashville 4-2. Vancouver with a 1-0 series lead. Elsewhere tonight, the Bruins host the Leafs up 1-0. Hurricanes at home to the Islanders leading 1-0. And it'll be Game 1 between the Stars and Golden Knights from Dallas. Toronto Blue Jays, they'll remain on the road. They visit Kansas City tonight to open up a 4-game set when they send Yusei Kikuchi to the bump. First pitch 5:40. Jays taking 2 of 3 from the Padres over the weekend following a 6-3 loss yesterday. NBA playoff picture, 3 games to go tonight. Magic visit the Cavs with Cleveland up 1-0. The Knicks lead their series with the Sixers 1-0. Game 2 tonight down in New York. And the Nuggets sporting a 1-0 lead over the Lakers. Game 2 tonight from Denver. Sports update for Cleburne Services. Take your career to the next level with Cleburne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, visit www.cleburneservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
Oh, behave.
Perry shoots and scores. Cece shoots, scores. Ryan McLeod. Can it be? It is. Howard Burns, first goals in Oilers. Listen in. Hey, score! Jason Strudwick wins it in overtime.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
An unlikely hero.
Are you kidding me? Who would have thought Jason Strudwick would get a shift in overtime?
Wow. Draisaitl keeps, shoots, scores.
17 seconds remaining. Here's Stefan, and he goes in, and he fell. And now here's a long pass to Ryan Smith in front of Hemsky. Hemsky with 2 seconds to play in the third period.
What a beautiful play. Started again.
Lieutenant Eric in for Dustin Nielson, Joaquin Gage, and YouTube Trev alongside. It is the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. You can have your say, Paris Jewelers Inbox, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well. That thing's always pumping and going. I didn't threaten, I didn't beg, but I did offer a bit of a bribe, a deal that if we hit 700 likes, I'd be playing the Cassian goal song as many times as you want, really. We're sitting at 309. Perhaps I say now, hey, Dusty, we got 700 likes over your time away. Hey, maybe that's
what it is.
Hey, we got 700 likes. You'd be like, that's great. And we don't need to tell them the details, right?
No.
Like, you get them how you get them.
391 to go.
we got 309 now. I mean, and with the Rishaug hour, I mean, there's always the bump there. So maybe we do get ours.
Maybe they have our back.
Maybe.
Hey.
Let that hang in the air for a second. 780-218-9999. I do believe, and lots of people wanted to play trivia, including Atif, to which I have his audio wheels. I'll be going over that as well. Hopefully, maybe sound of the day. We'll get that going for you. But who do we got on the line today, Trev?
It is not Atif, but it's a nasty. We got Corey B on the line.
Corey B. The untatted Corey B as of yet. Hey, this will be.
This is Corey.
I do believe, right? Confirmed, Corey?
Yeah, confirm. I'll be there on Friday.
Oh, right.
That's Friday. Yeah.
He talked to Kat and got everything all settled?
Yeah, you bet. We talked on last Monday, so I think we should be all set.
Perfect. She's great.
Well, Corey, it's going to be a memorable week for you here surrounding Edmonton Sports Talk, and maybe we can kind of bookend it here. You start a Monday off with a win and finish it Friday with a win. You know the score, though, $25 to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual is on the line right now, and the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Avenue and Mark Messier Trail. Now, 6 o'clock or lager on tap, so we could be sending you there, Corey. $25 and Mr. Mike bucks on the line. You need 3 out of 5. I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. Are you good to go?
Let's go.
Corey, who do the Oilers play tonight?
Los Angeles.
What city do the Kings call home?
Los Angeles.
What state is Los Angeles in?
California.
Which famous movie star is a famous Kings fan?
Will Ferrell.
What city do the Blue Jays call home?
Toronto.
And you got it. Congratulations, Corey. You're going to Mr. Bikes.
Boom.
My name is Julius, and I'm your twin brother. I've been looking forward to this moment my whole life. Excuse me, but I was just taking a shower. Tell me a little bit about Vincent. Was he a great athlete? Was he interested in chess and poetry? My name is Julius. My name is Julius. My name is Julius.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Congratulations to Corey B. taking it home, 5 out of 5. That's how you get a week started for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup opening up playoffs between the Oilers and Kings.
That's good.
Gotta love it.
It's good stuff.
Gotta love it. That's courtesy once again, Mr. Mike's. Corey B's on his way. Get the steak, the burger, pickle in, pickle out, whatever you want to call it. The main thing though is the 6 o'clock lager on tap, and if you can't get it on tap, you can get it in cans tonight. Hudson's Bourbon Street. Tom Gazzola will be there with the GCs and everything. So get on down to Hudson's tonight. Join us. Should be a good night. And he'll have your GCL pregame show beginning at 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 8:05 here. We're going to get into a little 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where, as I mentioned, dealer principal Mitch Lewicki always dips his body in blue paint prior to Game 1. He'll then dip his body in orange paint prior to Game 2. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. That's how he likes to do it. It's a fun dealership, much like this station. You can check them out online, parkmazda.ca, or visit them in Sherwood Park. Joaquin Gage, let the people know where they can follow you online and other places, social media and elsewhere.
Oh, you can reach me out on, is it Twitter or X? I keep calling it Twitter.
It's still twitter.com on the old,
so Joaquin Gage 31 at Joaquin Gage 31, or if you are looking for any sort of financial advisement or retirement planning, please you can reach out to me directly or check out our website at www.k4financial.ca. That's the letter K and the number 4 financial.ca, and we can have a discussion.
You have a nice graphic on April 8th tweet, meet the team, and it's yourself and your your coworkers there with K4, so that's great. And the Instagram too. The Instagram videos are great as well. That's
we try to put out as many, and it's great to follow my supreme leader Kent Tilley with go to his YouTube channel. Lots of good stuff and he keeps everyone up to date with all the new things happening financially.
And you can follow me at Lieutenant_Eric on Twitter, at Lasagna Enthusiast on Instagram. Should be a pretty hot account to follow during the opening round of the playoffs and anything further as well. I do believe Zactigam as well will be getting out there. Hey, he'll be pounding the pavement. I think that's kind of the plan here, loose plan.
He's on the drawing board. I think we're wanting to get him down there, interviewing some of the, obviously the fans, get a different perspective. Obviously, Tommy's up in the press box, so it'll be a little different, but I think it would be fun, and no better guy to do it than
I think so.
Good old Zach. He's just so humble and just like a puppy dog, right?
We'll get his socials
like,
up there too.
Hi everyone. Yeah. So that'll be awesome.
And where can people follow you, YouTube, Trev? I know you'll be doing the pre and post with Tommy tonight and various games throughout the opening round and forward.
Yeah. I'm YouTube Trev. You can follow me at YouTube_Trev.
The underscore is the big thing.
That's
You're
the big
still
one.
a little shadow banned. And Zach, too. Zactigam at Zachary with an H. HMK. So if you want to follow those two fine young individuals and follow their story here at EST, you're more than welcome to. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Once again, Orange and Blue Breakfast coming up, and a visit from our own Edmonton's own Ryan Rashad at around 8:30 this morning. But as mentioned, it is 3 questions too many. And Trev, if you want to answer these too, feel free to jump in and chime in. But question number 1, Oilers, Kings. I know everybody's done their playoff predictions, but right now, and sometimes people's opinions can change following a weekend or whatever. Maybe you see a few other games and you start to think of things from a different form or fashion. But Oilers, Kings, who wins it? How many games starting tonight, game 1?
Gosh, I don't like these. I think
I know it's a
Oilers in 6. I think is what I'm going to go with. Just Kings are good. We went through some of the buzzsaws.
Has this changed for you over the past week or so, or anything, or since we've known who they are over the weekend? Have you bounced around your thought, or this has just kind of been in stone since the start?
Just the fact that I've been more aware, I would say, of the Kings end to the season going quite good. I thought it was going to be quicker. I thought the Oilers would handle these guys a little bit, but after seeing what they were able to do, not excluding the last game of the year, I just think it's. If the Oilers sleepwalk through this and think if they look too far ahead, and I don't think they will. They know what they're up against with the LA Kings, but they are a good team, and to beat this team 4 games in a row, that just doesn't happen.
They've had this team's number the past 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
But I find it funny we're talking about that in a tone of like if they don't beat themselves, they'll finally conquer this team. Like that's kind of the vibe.
It's weird.
Whereas like they've conquered them all, and then whenever we say like rivalry between these two, well, the Oilers have had their number, and rightfully so. And I mean, I think this rivalry to me dates back. I mean, it just the significance, Gretzky, the whole bit. Like I think LA, it's just a great rivalry on its own. But the modern day one, it just seems like the Oilers have owned. But there's still this feeling of but if they do this and if they do that, and I mean, sure, but I think now, too, as you say, with the age and the experience that they've had in beating this team as they've had, it should maybe get easier. I went into the weekend Oilers in 6. I've now trimmed that down to Oilers in 5. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's significant in either way. I'd like to see them. I see them winning both at home, a split down south, and then coming back here and winning that 5 as you. I mean, that's how you really wrap it up nice. Don't ask me why I got off my 6 to 5. Just an inkling, but
that's a nice little bow on it. I don't mind that prediction. I just think, I do see the Kings actually getting one of these things. They're jacked up too. And what Drew Doughty said the last time here when the Oilers kind of had their way with them, and I don't know who asked him the question that is this what do you think of this rivalry? This isn't a rivalry. These guys smack us around every chance they get. So there's a little stick in the craw of the LA Kings here, and it was only 2 years ago that it went to Game 7. too,
Yeah.
right? And we talk about the Oilers' maturity. There's a lot of maturity with some Stanley Cup rings over on that side.
Doughty's doing that whole, and Low Tide used to do this too. You know, when you're in, oh no, not us, not me, no, they have our number. Like he's playing that possum game. I like that. I don't know. I'm really fascinated. I like this series. Just even, I know we're here and very close to it, but from a neutrals, I just find it very, very fascinating. Oilers in 5, win first 3, lose 1, and win 1, 2 overtimes. 1 injury on each team, 1 king suspension for an intentional elbow to the head. So Casino Dealer Jay really exploring this one and giving us a little more detail than was asked. But Trev, what do you got here for in terms of just series?
Yeah, I'm riding with Gager on this one. I think the Oilers in 6. However, you know, I really do think the Oilers have the talent and the skill to. Could it be a sweep? Maybe. Could it be 5 games? Like they are that good. And you talk Craig. We heard from Craig Button. He said like they are that good of a team. I just think the Oilers always make it interesting, and you know, going into the season, they were favorites, heavy favorites, Stanley Cup favorites, and they had the second worst start in franchise history. So they never make it easy, and that's why I'm like I could see them doing like just absolutely steamrolling them, but I'm like, no, like that's never been really the case. That's not in the Oilers' DNA.
The Oilers could do a lot of things.
They could.
And it's always a question of will they, though.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And it's not necessarily in terms of the opposition they're facing or anything else. It's will they answer the bell?
Yeah, so I do see the Oilers winning this one, but I mean, you gotta expect like the Kings are gonna bring it. You know, they have to be upset. The last 2 years, right? This is the team they want to beat the Oilers so bad, just as much as the Oilers want to beat the Kings, but. They're looking for vengeance, so it's scary. It really is scary. Like they're gonna be bringing like 110%. But I do see the Oilers winning in 6.
I might have to come in here just to watch one YTT watch a playoff game.
Oh yeah, gosh, it's insane.
You can charge admission.
I've had to. I've brought it down a lot, but
I think playoffs. It's
right coming back. It's coming back.
It's coming right
back. Yourself like that. Come on, who are we getting? Question number 2, and chime in as well. Nasty chat. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. I know DEL Oilers in 7. He goes. YTT a sweep? Have you been drinking? You know. So he's picking 7. You're going sweep. So we're all over the map here. I love it. So yeah, get your thoughts in terms of series and how many games. Question 2, outside of the top 6, gentlemen, who's your pick for a potential Fernando Pisani like fairy tale here? Who are you picking? Who's that player that we don't normally, or who needs to kind of? And if you want to go, I mean, if you want to get creative and give me a Warren Fogle or even a Nuge, since his production down the stretch hasn't been. But who do you think is that Fernando Pisani, unsung hero holding that plunger? Most post-game photos.
It's I'm going to stick with what I originally thought. It's Warren Fogle. He's concocting the Pisani juice and going to go on a roll here. I think it's. I like his game, straightforward,
career high man this year.
Yeah, career high. He plays a style that I like in the reg. He plays hard between the whistles, right? Like he's finishing checks to the point where 5-6 games against the style of Warren Fogle being aggressive and finishing checks. I think that gets under the skin a little bit in those scenarios. So Warren Fogle's my pick.
That's a great man. I'm thinking, man, me and Gager, we're so similar. I'm gonna switch it up though. Like I was thinking Fogle, but I'm gonna go with Ryan McLeod. I think he has a lot. Like he's fast. We've seen it in playoffs prior. He has, stepped up, and kind of like a lot of players, they usually tend to step up in the playoffs. We see that with Brett Kulak. He usually shows up in the playoffs. But I think Ryan McLeod, he's on the cusp, of doing something pretty cool. I really could see it. Either one of him or Fogle, but he's speedy. He's very quick, and I think he's going to get his looks, and I really think he's not going to shy away from skating with the puck. Hopefully he has a little bit more confidence, and time will only tell. But I could see Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle being really good in this playoffs.
Connor Brown's name flying in the nasty chat. I don't mind a Corey Perry, not so much in terms of points or anything, but I think we discussed too in terms of the orniness that the Kings bring to the table.
I like that.
That could be a guy that just sacrifices himself and says, "Step aside, boys. I got this." And whatever hell he has to go through to kind of nullify that threat from the Kings, so be it. And maybe chips in with a couple of dirty ones here or there, right? I could see him, and I think with whatever happens to Evander Kane and his availability this series, I think getting that Corey Perry on much of a similar deal where it's just kind of like, hey, you want him, and you take him and you get him. That experience and that jam, I think could really come in handy, specifically in this series against the Kings team that can get a little frustrating on you. But
well, out of the 3 players we all mentioned, I would say they all have to bring their game to up a notch.
No, it's a great point.
All 3 of those guys are capable of it. You mentioned Perry. He's done it. He's done it consistently at this age. Whether Tampa, Montreal, wherever he's been effective and a factor in all those long playoff runs. McLeod is always the enigma that we talk about. Well, where's that physical play? It actually rears its head way more in playoff series. And McLovin, like who doesn't need a little lovin'?
Well, that's
in the playoffs from McLovin.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, fake ID and all.
Josh says, "Hello, my name is Vincent. I'll be your playoff hero. 2 goals, 2 assists, round 1." Hey, we can go to the blue line if you want. I mean, that's an interesting. I mean, peel it back. Doesn't necessarily be a forward in the full form and mold of Fernando Pisani. Ian says Holloway is my Pisani. Okay, I don't mind the shout here. And then the Connor Brown. It's, certainly hope. But to your larger point, this is the exercise of just saying, hey, all these guys, and you do need to have a full at least full 3, but full 4 would be nice.
You could go D, but for Pisani couldn't skate backwards, so that's why we're going mostly forwards.
Exactly, I guess. And then question number 3. Today is International Jelly Bean Day. Best flavor, boys. What do you got here? It can be controversial. It can be at times. I'll take a black jelly bean. I don't mind that black licorice, man. I don't mind. There are certain times you don't need that black licorice flavor popping up in certain areas and aspects of life. But for a jelly bean, I don't mind it. I'm not going out and buying packs of black licorice to gnaw at home or the black Twizzlers or anything. But I will have a jelly bean. I'll have one of those pipes, those candy pipes with the little. That's fine to me. But yeah, I'll go with black. Hot take.
I like the watermelon jelly bean, actually. The pink one from
that's fair. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Pink's always a good flavor in any type of candy.
You do well in Sweden because they love the licorice.
Do they really?
Oh, there's a goodies store on every corner, and there's a special, like it's so licoricey, like it's almost too much.
But that's
But it's once in a while,
It's more like a pill.
Yeah, I usually just have it when I'm drinking absinthe, but whatever.
Trev, what do you got?
Tell you what, boys, I can't stand jelly beans. I don't like them.
Wow.
Never liked them. Hot take. You got a hot take. I got a hot take.
But you tried them.
Yeah. No, not a fan.
What is it? The texture, the flavor?
I don't know. They just taste like dust. Like I just don't like them. Like the aftertaste is just it's not appealing to me. I hate the texture as well. Like it's not
what
not
did you
fun.
like then candies? Like the 25. You put a quarter in. Were you a Thrills guy? Did you like
not
those,
a candy guy. I don't like candy really. No, not a big sweets. No, like it. And growing up with grandma, it sucked because she'd always bring me down all the sweets, and I'm like, sorry, grandma, like. I'm not a big candy guy. I can't have these cookies. Yeah, like a lot. So I don't like candies. I'm like a chip guy. I like chips.
Yeah, the salt.
Yeah, I like
the salt or the sweet. Salt,
yeah.
You just stay home at Halloween as a kid?
Yeah, well, I'd get all my candy. I don't know, like most people, but my stepdad and mom would take all of it for them. Almost every Halloween, I'd give it. I'd give it to I'd bribe my brother and sister. I'd be like, hey, I'll give you a candy for something. But it's like nothing too crazy.
Chocolate?
Yeah, like I don't mind.
You'll take
chocolate,
a chocolate,
but as far as
the cocoa bean.
Yeah, like as far as like Skittles and stuff like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, anything sweet. Like not a fan.
And I was just going over the main jelly beans. We're not going into the Jelly Belly territory. That's hangout. Matt Iwanek could do 2 hours, I'm sure, on all the flavors of the Jelly Bellies and have fights and debates and what sort. But just the main ones. And I'm getting a lot of support for the black. I love it there. But not a full. Again, too much of that black licorice is a little it's an overload. But. Share your thoughts. Favorite jelly bean, 780-218-9999. Propane Pimp says, sorry, boys, answer is RNH. Not for the jelly bean question, I assume, but for the other one. If he plays well, Dry and McD can perform on separate lines with success. If he doesn't, how long before Nobbs goes to the McDry drug? And, perhaps that's a real good point as well with that type of player. If he can, it's the Pierre-Luc Dubois question all over again with the Kings, right? If he shows up 10 out of 10, that kind of changes the storyline just a bit.
The problem is I think for Oilers fans, we see the result of other teams that seem to stick with their lines more than Oilers head coaches have over the past few years. So they see that winning formula. But look, Connor McDavid said it, I think it was a couple of weeks last in the regular season. He goes, we don't have set lines. We play with multiple different players in different situations.
And that's
I think
okay if you handle it properly, right? Like if you know what you're,
I mean, constantly keeping the other team off edge. That's going. What do we do here? What do we do there? You want to create you don't want to make it easy on the other team by having such consistent lines to effect. All these guys have played together at some point. It's not like they're just making up new stuff as you go along. There's prior history. I think it's a good thing.
Strummy says RNH is in the top 6, so that wasn't the question. And you chose Fogle too, who's in the top 6. So but whatever. But to the spirit of the question, it's outside the top 2 who's going to kind of take that and go with it. Yeah. Jason Leduc says, again, I don't know why everyone seems to want to invoke the spirit of Pisani if it's something this team needs. I think the point of the question is just who, a lesser than that'll turn into a have more come playoff time and kind of, take the narrative by storm. But I don't mind the RNH shout, and along with the Fogle. The Worm says, who's excited for Pesky Perry tonight? I'll put both my hands up there as that was my pick to be that X factor. Let's get into the Orange and Blue Breakfast night now, shall we? We'll just go over quickly the lineups. I mean, this whole hour, this whole show, this whole day will be a giant Orange and Blue Breakfast on Edmonton Sports Talk. But Orange and Blue Breakfast brought to you, as always, by Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants. The Blue Water Group, founded in 1974, Canada's largest independent distributor of mobile-branded lubricants. They want to thank everyone for 50 great years. Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants bringing you the Orange and Blue Brekkie this morning. And we'll go over the lines as they stand, as of what we've seen as of late. McDavid between Hyman and Henrique. Draisaitl centering RNH and Fogle. McLeod between Corey Perry and Dylan Holloway. Herrick between Janmark and Kane. Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse, Ceci, and Kulak Desharnais, your defensive pairings. Stuart Skinner, assumed will get the start in net tonight for the LA Kings. Ye old sunken eyes, Anze Kopitar centering line 1 between Laferriere and Kempe. Deneau between Arvidsson and Moore. Blake Lizotte centering line 3 between Fiala and Lewis. Pierre-Luc Dubois on the 4th line. And he's got Quinton Byfield and Carl Gunstrom riding with him. On the blue line, Anderson, Doughty, Gavrikov, Roy, England, and Spence. And a goaltending duo of Cam Talbot and David Rittich. As for players who aren't tough enough to play hockey tonight, taking a look at the injury report, courtesy TSN. Of course, the big one here in the market, and we heard from him to kick off the show this morning, but speaking yesterday was Oilers forward Evander Kane. He is listed as day-to-day, as he said yesterday. He's been dealing with a sports hernia throughout the season, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Probably, I guess, a game-time decision as of now. Carl Grundstrom on the IR as well. I know he was mentioned lower body left game in February, but he might be also a game-time decision. Phoenix Copley, another goaltender residing on the IR for the LA Kings. Getting into as well, what do you see? I mean, keys to an Oilers victory tonight, Gager? I think the theme is not beating yourself. We've heard Craig Button say it as well. But you're looking at kind of hammering them hard out of the gate, getting there, exacting your will on home ice, keeping that crowd in it, that type of thing?
Yeah, use the crowd. Let's Oilers fans. They have their work cut out for them tonight to match the intensity of Vancouver and Winnipeg. I think I'm sure it will be a very enjoyable game from a fan standpoint. But I think to defeat the Kings, they've done it all season long, where they get the puck in behind their D and make it difficult, make them have to make split decisions moving the puck. And play in their own end, moving the puck low to high. I think that's where you find some inefficiencies in Cam Talbot's movement, and that's and not beat themselves by falling into trap of that 1-3-1 system, because, like we said, Arvidsson, Moore, Fiala, those guys feast on neutral zone turnovers and going back the other way, finding that late Kempe coming in with that sledgehammer shot.
Yeesh.
So, I think those are the keys, just playing within the game. You don't have to carry the puck over the blue line every single time. Getting in on that forecheck and giving those some of those, especially Drew Doughty that plays a lot of minutes, those body punching hits that wear them down when you do get to game 5, 6, or maybe even a potential 7, you've worn them down enough.
Not unfair to say get out there and dictate. It'd be nice.
Yeah,
full dictation from start to finish there. Game 1, but we'll get you set. Coming up next, TSN's Ryan Rashad from the Got Your Back podcast. Let's hit a quick sports update here from Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. We'll be back with Rishaug. Get you set. Game 1 again tonight. Kings and Oilers down at Ice District. Full slate of preparation for tonight's game, but that's all following here a sports update for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. And it is Game 1 tonight. Kings and Oilers down at Ice District to crack open that opening round series tonight here in Edmonton. Tom Gazzola will get you set. He'll be at Hudson's Bourbon Street this evening, West Edmonton Mall. He'll have your GCL Diesel pre-game show. Coverage starts 6:30 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. Evander Kane, questionable for tonight as he's dealing with a sports hernia. You can also join Tom Gazzola following tonight's action. He'll be taking your reaction on the GCL Diesel post-game show. Yesterday, the Panthers taking a 1-0 series lead, getting past Tampa 3-2. The Rangers topped the Capitals 4-1. Jets winning a wild Game 1 over the Avalanche 7-6. And the Canucks, they double up Nashville 4-2 to take a 1-0 lead in that opening round series. 3 other games tonight. The Bruins will host the Leafs up 1-0. Hurricanes at home to the Islanders, leading 1-0. And Game 1 between the Stars and Golden Knights down in Dallas. NBA postseason continues tonight as well with 3 games. Lakers will look to even up their series with the Nuggets. That Game 2 goes in Denver. Knicks leading the Sixers 1-0 as New York will host Philly once again. And the Cavs up 1-0 over the Magic. Game 2 tonight from Cleveland. Jays, they take 2 of 3 from the Padres over the weekend following a 6-3 loss yesterday. Toronto remain on the road. They'll visit the Royals tonight to open a 4-game series when they send Yusei Kikuchi to the Hill. First pitch 5:40. Sports update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them 12848 97th Street or order today, www.bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550.
Oh, behave.
Tipped. Perry shoots and scores. CeCe shoots and scores. Scores. Ryan McLeod. First goals in Oilers. Whistles in. Hey, score! Jason Strudwick wins it in overtime.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
An unlikely hero.
Are you kidding me? Who would have thought Jason Strudwick would get a shift in overtime?
Wow. Draisaitl keeps, shoots, scores.
17 seconds remaining. Here's Stefan, and he goes in, and he missed the bell. And now here's a long pass to Ryan Smith in front of Himsky. Score! Himsky with 2 seconds to play in the third period.
What a beautiful play. He's done it again. Coast to coast.
Are you kidding me?
The Oilers pouring it on. Wow. Game over.
There you go, a little vignette produced by our friend Jonty and Victoria out west. They're getting you set for the Oilers and Kings tonight, Game 1. 8:31 on the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric in for Dustin Nielson, Joaquin Gage, and YouTube Trev behind the monitors. And Tommy the Wrench showing up in the nasty chat.
Look who got out of the grotto this morning and
still in the robe, I would assume.
Still in the silk robe,
loosely
for
tied.
sure. But good to see the Wrench.
Nice to see you, Tommy the Wrench. And you can see Tommy the Wrench tonight. He'll be at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. Game 1 having your GCL pre- and post-game shows tonight. You can hear them and watch them, Edmonton Sports Talk, or join us tonight. It's going to be a rambunctious evening. And I've already sent out the invite to our next guest. I haven't had a response yet, but Ryan Rashad from the Got Your Back podcast and TSN. Apologies, Ryan. Dusty didn't leave me with your theme music. We can blame him. But how are you? It's great to see you, man. And how? Yeah. What's the excitement level tonight? You must be hitting it at 20 from a 1 to 10, eh?
Yeah, I'm just ready to do my job, man. I know that Oiler Nation is fired up and super happy and super excited, but I saved that for them. I would say I'm looking forward to playoff hockey for sure.
It's not we, fun. Correct?
It'll be what's that?
It's not we, right? Tommy always likes to say we. Keep the we at the minimum.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, but I'm excited, and I'm excited for Oiler fans because it's been a long regular season, and I think we've known from the very beginning that the playoffs are where it really matters here. So it was a slog. There were some ups and downs, some emotional low points, definitely some emotional low points, and now the playoffs are here, and they get to really let her rip. So I'm excited for Oiler fans tonight for sure. Eric, I have not been on since you have revamped the situation. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, turn your head. Is it a pony?
Oh yeah, I got a tight pone in there.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gone. I thought you cut it.
No. The thing is, I debated that like on a random Wednesday. I'm like, this is really pissing me off, and I'm just. Gonna, but you can't just. You got to make a thing out of it. You can't grow hair and then just cut it off randomly. It's got to be. I'll cut it off. It'll be made into a wig. Somebody will, that type of thing, beneficiary stuff. But no,
I was gonna say from this angle, I'm thinking like a mid-90s Billy Bob Thornton type thing you got going on, like in his heyday.
Yeah. Oh, that way back in the day, not coaching like Permian or anything like that.
In his absolute prime, he was like he was a massive heartthrob back in the day.
Shaggy, did you ever rock the mullet back in your
no
back in Kamloops? Little hockey hair? I can see you probably.
My hair has been the exact same since I was 8 years old. The only difference is the alarming amount of thinning happening, but it's been the same hairstyle since I'm that kid. Same hairstyle since I was 7, and it's just thinning out now. So I cover it with hats whenever I can.
No, I love it. No, that's fine. And you can wear whatever hat you want on the show anytime. I'm just giving you. I know Dusty likes you to clean up and everything, but you wear hats. You do wear a mustache and a fake glasses if you want. But getting back to the business at hand tonight, Ryan, how the temperature that you're taking, and again, you're down in the room. There was some interesting availability yesterday in terms of Evander Kane, which we'll get to. But taking the temperature and being around this team at an arm's length, anything different from the past couple of years? Again, this is a rivalry now. I don't know if you even want to call it that. Drew Doughty doesn't want to call it that, but these teams know each other quite well, although a few changes here or there for both. But what's the temperature of this team heading into this series, and is it anything different in years past for Oilers fans to get a little more excited about potentially?
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to beat a team 3 years in a row. I think that team goes to bed every night thinking about you, right? The LA Kings for 2 straight years, when they're thinking about where they wanted to get and where it came to a screeching halt for them. Some real good players have been going to bed at night, laying their head on the pillow with the Oilers as the bane of their existence. So you're going to have a very prepared LA group. They're going to take this very seriously, and I think they're going to give the Oilers an extremely difficult test. I think they're deeper. I think they're healthier. They're finally healthy this season. They haven't been all year long. They definitely have questions of that. There's no doubt. But to me, the idea of beating a team 3 times in a row, I can't help but think they're going to bring something different for round 3 here. I think the Oilers are the favorite. I think the Oilers believe they've learned lessons too, right? They have their playoff scars. They don't want to get tripped up here early. Leon Draisaitl talking yesterday about how there's going to be fewer of those mistakes from our group because we've learned those lessons. So it's time to go out there and show that, Gage. You're like, we were joking last night on the pod. What's the over-under on Leon Draisaitl with a frustrated slashing penalty in the first couple of games of this series, right? Well, if they've learned, and we won't see that if the game is tied or within a goal or two.
So, Ryan, you've watched all the Kings games this year and seen how the Oilers stack up. Mm-hmm. Now that they had this is where we talked about that trade. I don't think you would make that. Watching the Jets game last night, it's tough to tough to look at that trade and see if the Kings won. Looking at the regular season, does Dubois? Is he a difference maker now? Are the Kings looking to him? Go, okay, you know what? We didn't have the great regular season, but now this is why you're here. This is why we went out and got you, because we're going up against a team that's we haven't been able to beat. We want you to be the difference maker. Is this where we see the actual Pierre-Luc Dubois that we thought we would see throughout the regular season?
Yeah, well, I think if you're the LA Kings, I think it's probably smart to give him the sense that the slate is wiped completely clean, right? It's been a regular season to forget. It's been a start to forget, with his time with the LA Kings. And so I think you lean into him as though he is every bit what you thought he was going to be when you traded for him. Give him that sense. Regular season aside, whatever. I think you put it great, Gager. This is why he was brought in here. He was brought in here. In part, the LA Kings are looking at the last couple of years and saying we need a little more depth down the middle to get through these guys. They're top two centers, excellent defensive centers, but maybe came up a little bit short. So they go get this guy, and this is why he's here. So treat him like he's a guy that's going to make an impact in this series. Put him in a spot in the lineup where he has a chance to make an impact in this series. And if he drops the ball and plays his way out of that opportunity, then so be it. But you gave it a good, honest go. So I know there are lines. He was with Quentin Byfield and Grunstrom, I believe, is the line that's been together. I think that could be a really good line, man. Byfield got a little cooled off towards the end of the season, but this guy's legit. Oiler fan has not seen this guy engaged in the playoffs the way he was engaged this year. So if he can bring that and Dubois gets a clean slate and a fresh start, that's a pretty formidable line. So Gage, I think your point's well made on Pierre-Luc Dubois.
TSN's Ryan Rashad with us, also from the Got Your Back pod, which is going on and will be going on throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs here following the Oilers' trek. Shaggy, the big one obviously within this market yesterday, and I'm just going to set this up to you as a team reporter, and whenever we talk about Evander Kane, there's a lot of smoke, and there has been traditionally with him, and that's fair. That you can understand that on the surface and say, okay, the guy's been in some weird times during his NHL career. Yesterday, though, it pops up that he has an availability, and he's dealing with a sports hernia, and he's been dealing with it throughout the season, and so on and so forth. People this morning, and rightfully so, the LTIR question comes up. Why can't, if this was going on, why can't you just do this? Why can't you just do that? I'm taking all this at first blush, face value. It's a hernia and it's everything. But if you can kind of explain the thought process, why yesterday? Why not LTIR? I mean, we all complain. We all see what Vegas does all these times. And you have a guy that visibly, and I know Gager pointed out, I mean, you could see something throughout the season was physically hampering him. And maintenance days here or there, gripes and yelling on the bench, all of this stuff to only find out yesterday that it's this nagging thing that, okay, if it was nagging you, much like a spleen would be to somebody, LTIR him and do something. So why are we here and how did we get here? And again, taking this all in face value, I'm not going down any sort of paths this morning, but it just seems kind of weird, just this original tale.
Okay, and there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. I will start with this because I too saw all of the LTIR questions pop up last night. Struds brought it up last night on our show. I would assume that if the opportunity had presented itself during the regular season where the information from the doctors was Evander Kane needs surgery, and if he gets this surgery, he'll be completely healthy and ready to go for the playoffs, and his injury is such that it requires this surgery. So that is our recommendation for Evander to have surgery to fix this, and he could go on LTIR, and the Oilers could take advantage of the rules. I would like to think that the Oilers management group is sharp enough to recognize that opportunity and execute that maneuver. We don't know that opportunity ever came up. Like, just because Kane said yesterday he's been dealing with this all year doesn't mean the Oilers dropped the ball not putting him on LTIR. I'm going to give their management the benefit of the doubt that had that opportunity been there, they would have done it. With that said, little odd for a guy to just flat out reveal his injury the day before the playoffs start. I have never seen that happen before. And that's fine. As a reporter, you ask questions and you're happy when the athletes answer them. Yeah. So there's one part of me that's like, I'm not going to criticize him for that because I asked the question or the question, actually, he wasn't even asked what it was. He volunteered it.
Sure.
And so you don't want to criticize players for being upfront with you. That's what you want as a reporter. But it was definitely odd. So, yes, it's been interesting. It's been different. Bottom line, if the Oilers are going to go on a deep playoff run, I believe Evander Kane needs to be a huge part of it because he is an important playoff piece for them. So while there's this nagging injury and he's starting out on the fourth line here, sounds like he decided to take some time off towards the end of the season to try and get it healed. And he very much made it sound like it was his decision, right? I thought it would be best if I took a week off, which, hey, players need to take charge of their own health too. So let's see how he looks. But odd that it was mentioned the day before the playoffs start when we're normally in a fist fight to get any information at all about injuries.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give management the benefit of the doubt that opportunity would not have realistically presented itself and they didn't drop the ball.
Because it's too, like, in terms of messaging, and Gage brought it up, like, we always complain and whine that we don't get anything from, it's like getting blood from a stone. Here he is saying stuff that you're not even asking. But at the same time, you're finding out these injuries either after winning the cup or getting bounced in a series, not prior to game one of the opening round.
Yes.
So that's a little
bizarre. I appreciate the honesty. I and that's great.
Yeah.
But Gager, would you not also agree that it's a little odd for a guy to just throw his injury up on a platter for everybody the day before the playoffs start? That's also a little bit notable and odd. But hey,
yeah.
We love questions being answered.
I think you have it is odd, but then I think with this year, and maybe if this has been hampering him throughout the whole year, and he has kept it under wraps. And now you see Evander Kane is on the fourth line. The narrative becomes, how is Evander Kane going to react to this? Is he going to, need his diaper changed, so to speak? And is this him falling on the sword and saying, look, I'm a little bit banged up right now. I've dealt with it, but It eliminates that question of why is Evander Kane on the fourth line? Has he done anything else? I like what he's done. I like that he's come forward and said that he's dealing with something, because there's been times of the year where he just hasn't been the player that we've seen over the past couple seasons. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good thing at this point, because you're not asking about, or there's no more speculation in this point.
Yeah.
With it's out in the open, it's clear, okay, dealing with something, let's get it out. Now let's get ready for game one.
But there also is an injury that, needs surgery to repair, right? That's like Brownie talked about it last night. He had this injury and it basically needs surgery to repair. So it's also created this question of why didn't they deal with this sooner? Why not, after they went on that ridiculous run and it was clear they were going to be in the playoffs, why not deal with it at the moment and let Evander Kane heal and let him be healthy and ready to go for the most important time of the year? So while, yes, it maybe clears some things up, it also creates some questions too about how this was handled. So maybe in one way clearing things up, in one way making things a little muddy and creating a narrative of why didn't the team handle it this way or that way or whatever. Bottom line, we don't have all the information, and I think the Edmonton Oilers and their management group are smart enough to have taken advantage of that situation had it actually arisen that way.
TSN's Ryan Rashad, Got Your Back podcast, joining us to preview Oilers-Kings Game 1 tonight down at Ice District. And won't keep you too much more longer here, Ryan. Just wanted your thoughts. We were batting the ball around ourselves this morning and with the listeners. And I jokingly or kind of tongue-in-cheek the Fernando Pisani Award of Excellence or something like that. But in terms of a lesser known or and I Gager chose Fogel. I kind of have him out of that. Top six, he's been having a hell of a year. But somebody bottom six or a lesser than D pairing or somebody, who do you see kind of arises this series and potentially forward for the Oilers in this cup chase that really kind of comes from out of nowhere? I kind of thought Corey Perry, having him and his pestiness, would kind of nullify some things that the Kings may bring. But who do you think is that unsung hero right now that might rise to the occasion here?
Yeah, so one guy that always plays well for them in the playoffs is Brett Kulak. And he doesn't come with a lot of fanfare and flash and dazzle and that sort of thing, but he's just really solid. And it's because he skates so well. So the temperature's about to go up and the speed is about to go up, and Brett Kulak is going to be just fine in that regard. Now, if he can, maybe surprise with a little bit of offense here or there, I think we could be talking about Brett Kulak as just, and part of the narrative with him is that he's not going to be here next year. Right? They need to clear space for Philip Broberg. They need to create opportunity for Philip Broberg. Yep, all Brett Kulak does is play steady through the regular season and then excellent in the playoffs. So I've got my eye on him up front. I think it sets up for Dylan Holloway to make some noise here. We got into a spirited debate last night about if Evander Kane were healthy enough to clearly be on that third line right now, would Holloway even be in the lineup? Would it make sense for Holloway to even be in the lineup on that fourth line, or do you just throw Connor Brown in and have that prototypical fourth line? I think Holloway's earned the right to be in the lineup wherever they want to play him. Brownie and Struds feel maybe this is more situational. Like you need that third line guy that can skate and hit, and if Evander Kane can't quite be that guy, then Holloway's the perfect guy to have in. Yeah. But I would circle Dylan Holloway and say I'm really interested to see what he's going to be able to give him. With Holloway, though, and Gage, I'm not sure if you agree with this, to me, it's all about the hash marks to the red line in his own end for him. Like for him to be playable, for him to get the opportunity, he needs to be excellent on the wall in his own end, not turn pucks over there, and allow his coach to continue putting him on the ice. Hash marks to the red line, because red line in, I think he's going to be fine.
It's the you're talking about the Strudwick zones, I believe. The 6
yeah,
feet on either side of the blue line. It just it is hitting glass and getting out of harm's way. So that's what he teaches at his camps. And that's and
don't give it all away here.
Well, everyone knows this already, but Ryan, I did listen to your podcast last night a little bit.
Thank you.
And I was wondering something that you guys had mentioned that was really kind of sticking with me throughout most of the night was Struddy saying he looks like Ryan Reynolds with his new reading glasses. Is that
I know?
Is that actual? Did he actually put them on?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so we don't know
ridiculous.
what he actually looks like.
We actually have a segment where Struds is allowed to talk about anything he wants, right? It's called Struddy's World. Anything that he has on his mind, he can just talk about. And he chose last night for his entire segment on the eve of the playoffs to discuss how his eyes were going a little. So he went to the eye doctor, got glasses. That wasn't even the point he wanted to make. His entire point was how stunning he looks in them, how his wife can't keep her hands off of him when he wears them, and how he looks like Ryan Reynolds. Like that was what he chose to use his space to talk about. And I text Shona last night. I mean, she was already in bed. I said, Struddy's claiming that these glasses are just otherworldly. And she's like, yeah, if they were so otherworldly, why was I dead asleep at 9 p.m.? Like, no. She basically shut it down and said, no.
I don't mind not seeing it. It gives it a theater of the mind. I actually don't want to see it. You kind of think about it. Maybe it's the
I told him to have them ready for tonight, though. I said, you better back it up tonight by wearing those things.
And where can people view, listen, and digest your work here coming up during the playoff run? What's your type of schedule moving forward?
100%. Yeah, we'll be doing post-game pods for sure. You can grab us over on we're on all the podcast platforms, YouTube and as well. Spotify, Apple, all the same spots that we're all existing on. So we'll have lots of great content in the weeks to come. And then of course, Pierre LeBrun's in town, so I'll be filing tons of content on TSN today. So tsn.ca will be on SportsCenter, YouTube page for TSN as well. So there'll be way more Rishaug than anybody could ever possibly want to consume, available for consumption in the next week.
I don't mind at all, man. It's a busy time, a fun time as well, but we appreciate your time this morning getting ready for this busy time. So have a good week. Enjoy tonight, Ryan, and we'll talk next week, man.
Look forward to it. And Eric, I'm not telling you need to go back and look at the tape today. From this vantage point, you look like you took it all off, and it's not bad, buddy. Like you need to think about it.
No, I thought about it, baby.
Billy Bob Thornton.
I ruminate.
Don't forget who he married.
I ruminate.
Follicle envy.
Don't kid yourself.
It's running rampant.
I'll be joining your club sooner
have
than
a great
later.
day. Enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Enjoy the game, guys.
It's Ryan Rishaug, TSN, as you heard there, doing a little more work for the Sports Network here over the next little while as things get hot and heavy during the Stanley Cup playoffs. And they got your back pod as well, and we appreciate his time for all of that and the good work he does over there. No simulator talk this morning, hey? A little too...
Well, maybe it's a little 9...
Closed for the season?
A pregame 9 for Shaggy on I don't know, maybe Torrey Pines.
Working on the short game maybe or something like that during the week. But we appreciate his time and Craig Button's time as well and everybody's time. I know time is a great commodity, especially during this time, and it's going to get a lot busy. Tonight you can share your time with us, Edmonton Sports Talk. Join Tom Gazzola live at Hudson's Bourbon Street. That's West Edmonton Mall location for the GCL Diesel pregame show. 6:30 gets underway. You want to show up there a little early. Give yourself, I think this week and leading up for the playoffs, give yourself some time for everything. Yeah. Get your food, get your drink, get everything prepared. Don't make it hard on yourself. Don't show up to a bar as they're singing the anthems and be like, there's no there's no table of 5 for me. Get there early. Reserve a spot. Call ahead. Do whatever you got to do. Make it easy on yourself. But we'd like to help. Hudson's Bourbon Street tonight, West Edmonton Mall. GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows, 6:30. It's an Edmonton Sports Talk watch party. We'll be there. Oilers and Kings tonight. Should be a good one. If you can't make down to that, though, buck off 6 o'clock or longer in the 4-pack. I don't just need to get the 4-pack. You can get a full case as well. Sobeys and Safeway Liquor.
Well, might as well stack it up. I think this is going more than 4 games, so I might as well just get the flat, right?
Yeah. Well, 4-pack per period, maybe. Yeah. I don't tell you how to party. It's all fine. Do whatever you want to do. But yes, we'll get into the wrap now. Brought to you by William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, check them out online today. The team, WilliamHuff.com, in business since 1972, so you know they are incredible at what they do. And from William Huff.
Oh,
geez, we really rolled up. Anyways, yeah, they don't. I got it. Don't let their good work and our shoddy execution here overshadow it here. They got these banners there, William Huff. You can see them today. Check them out, WilliamHuff.com online. They'll give you the directions where to go. Great little shop as well. Stickers, decals, banners of all sizes. You want to cheer on the oil, do it right. Do it with a professionally made banner, sticker, whatever it is. Just take a look at the studio here. They do it right, William Huff. What did you learn on the show this morning?
Well, more...
It was really
how
just
people
opinion.
look at the there's a medical term for it, and Cass will say it on the pregame show because he had this injury, the Evander Kane,
the hernia,
pubescent pubalgia, something
pubic
pubalgia, something like that. He knows the name, and said it was extremely painful and had to get and found it hard to breathe when he was striding. So we learned that there's multiple theories of this injury and what the Oilers should have or should not have done.
That's on a Monday usually you'll learn a lot from the sporting world of the weekend, or we come and gather again and we recap everything. The Kane stuff
not medical.
But it's taking, and you know what. He never shies away from the timing and the he's always I don't know. It's just, again, I'm taking this thing at face value and all on the surface. But certainly, as Ryan said too, the timing, and I mean, just call it an LBI for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I don't need your prepubescent, whatever it is, whatever the whole medical scientific term. And I know people in the nasty chat saying it's not like people are going to be going at him and spearing him in the gut or anything. I mean, I certainly hope not. But we've gone from maintenance days to graphically explaining something that's been happening to you all season, getting into the playoffs. So certainly people's thoughts on that, and I think we had a well-rounded discussion on that, both in the nasty chat and on the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Swing in for that text of the day, $20 to A&W. The new Stacker Burger is now available. So if you want to get a quick snack today, maybe head on down to A&W. Lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, new secret sauce. You can grab a single, a double, or a triple. It's your choice. You're calling the shots. $3.99 from A&W. Did anything stand out text of the day for you, Wise, this morning?
You know, this is another rookie mistake. I had it written down to try to look at, but I don't really nothing really popped out of the page at me. I just I don't know.
We had you had some scribbles though. I'll go over the penmanship and see about a couple of those. I know you didn't want to give anybody outright. But we'll put them through a little competition or something like that. Maybe we'll have a handful of people going for the text of the day. I'll be missing the game tonight. Timber Woodsman says I'm going to see Strung Out at Union Hall.
Oh wow!
You're familiar with that punk band of old, so. Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do, but get in, maybe swoop in right now for that text of the day. Since Gager didn't pick one, maybe now is your time to win. So 780-218-9999 is the number to text in. It's getting wild over here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Murray's in. He's got my sword here. I think he's beating Will Fraser with it over the head. Matty Iwanik's in. Your next chance at the Fly YEG keyword as well, coming up in the Hangout 9 to 11. And it's the final week. So the final Monday Hangout chance to qualify and get your keyword texted in. Matt Iwanik will have it for you. Lock Shop as well with Hustler this morning. as he'll probably be discussing something from last night's Jets game and their big win over the Avalanche. And Dustin Nielson still down San Diego way. He'll be back on the show Thursday morning for you. So Jason Milne will be in for Joaquin Gage tomorrow, recapping Game 1. And Joaquin Gage will be back with me Wednesday morning, getting you set for Game 2. Another Tales of the North as well. If you missed Tales of the North, I'm sure Zactigam will get that out on its own a little later on. But I want to mention Tales of the North brought to you earlier today by Christopher Boyle, Lord of Life Assurance, Sentinel of Life's Legacy. You can check him out online. Experienced advisor with over 17 years of the financial experience working with both families and businesses. So check him out. ChristopherBoyle.net is where you can find his work. Text of the day, as I said, tried to keep getting him in. Rams fan here. Pierre LeBrun in town to show Shoggy. Oh, Pierre LeBrun in town, so Shoggy is stepping out the golf simulator to do some work. Interesting. So Shog only works when the Superiors are in town. I don't know. That might get you the text of the day. We'll see. Once again, a few minutes to get on that. Boys, gentlemen, what are we watching tonight in the world of sports?
Oh my gosh.
I know that Royals-Jays series is probably tantalizing you. Hey, you say Kikuchi back on the mound. Let's go. No, this is it. And 8 o'clock on NHL.com, which will probably mean, 8:10 anthems, ceremonial puck drop, some sort of something. Right.
I think the return of Mark Stone is interesting too tonight.
The game we're forgetting about here, but Game 1, Stars Golden Knights too. Fascinating series.
So there's no better. You're going to have the Oilers game on the big screen, but there could be an iPad set up to watch a little scouting preview of the other game there. That's going to be quite interesting, I think, to see Vegas at full power, and if it's the same result or not. The goaltending in that series is another thing that I will probably talk about later on in the show. But this is it's all hockey.
It's all hockey now, baby. And again, tonight, make a night out of it if you aren't going to the Moss Pit or in the arena for Game 1 between the Oilers and Kings. Let EST take care of you. Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. Come see Tommy. He'll be dishing out GCs of all types of denominations. You can go there and test your luck with him. I know the food, the drink, 6 o'clock lager in the can. And show up. Again, he gets on air 6:30. 5 o'clock Bruins Leafs. Game 2 of that one. Bruins up 1-0. You also got Hurricanes and Islanders. Game 2 of that series. Carolina holding a 1-0 series lead. 5:30 puck drop in that affair. And then Stars Golden Knights, we're looking at around a 7:30, and that leading up to the Oilers Kings at around 8 o'clock. So lots of stuff to kind of get you ready for tonight. Show up at Hudson's early, get a seat, grab a table, bring some friends, enjoy, let your hair down, just enjoy tonight, baby. It's Oilers Kings Game 1. And let us treat you right down at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. I think that'll do it. We'll give the Hangout an extra minute or two to kind of gather themselves and towel off with whatever hijinks they're dealing with there with my samurai swords and whatnot. But I want to thank everyone for listening this morning. And just make sure I don't miss anything today as well. As, again, we were saying, prepare yourself. Get the drink, get the food, do it right.
Well, that's what the weekend was for, right?
That's what the weekend was for.
We mentioned that.
If you slept, though, we're giving you, do your money. Phone in sick, do that Oilers, I got a work thing. You know, everybody passes out those for the cards and for the boss. It's the playoffs. Days of the week don't matter anymore. Get a little wild with yourself. Head on down to Popeyes today. Start off with maybe a little lunch, maybe a poutine, some chicken, the wings maybe. Do that.
If there's a time to flounder, it's to go to Popeyes.
That fish sandwich, that flounder sandwich, baby, that'll get you going. Popeyes, get down to A&W. That's your mid-afternoon snack. Then maybe you go to a Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, get a few flats of the 6 o'clocker. Head down to Hudson's tonight and join us. They got the 6 o'clocker lager in the can. Great food and drink specials as well. Tommy will be there. We'll all be there. It's going to be a great night. But for our hosts, for our guests this morning, TSN Craig Button joined us. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Of course, Ryan Rashad. We love him. They got your back. We got his back. He's got ours. He joined us in the third hour. And your next chance at a Vegas keyword coming up 9 to 11 with Matt Iwanek, Will Fraser, Murray McCourt from the Ranch Golf and Country Club as well, joining him in the Hangout. For YouTube, Trev behind the monitors, I know what you're going through. See, he was dealing with we'll say an upper body injury of his own.
Yeah.
A little bit.
The head.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. But great job behind the monitors as always. I do believe Zatcom in your place tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
Jason Milne will be in your place, but thank you again for your time Monday morning. Tales of the North.
I hope everyone got it. I mean, you had to be a little bit of an old school fan But
the old heads are still listening.
I think,
you know what I mean. There's
I
a few
think
of them out there.
If not, go watch it.
Go watch it. Yes, circle back. And for Dustin Nielson and his family enjoying the remainder of their San Diego vacation, hope you're having a good time. And yes, coming up next, Matt Iwanek in the Hangout, 9 to 11. Your next chance at a Vegas keyword. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Enjoy tonight. Party responsibly.